1 minute, you think you've got this league figured out. The contenders look solid, the matchups make sense, and then all of a sudden, the script gets flipped. Ottawa walks into Colorado and holds one of the top teams in this league to 5 goals. Halifax getting it done when it counts at home. Calgary comes back on Sunday and handles Rochester. No one's seen that coming. And just like that, the week doesn't feel normal anymore. It feels like one of those weekends that reminds us how close this league actually is. And on today's episode, I'm joined by Elliott Frickman, also known as Ryan McMichael from Loose Mesh, and we talk about the Daily Dive situation, the Lacrosse Canada situation, and then we get into some real lacrosse talk about what's going on around the league right now. After that, I'll get into my full week 15 recap, my weekly lacrosse award, a game-by-game deep dive, and where every team is currently sitting and how their playoff chances are shaping up. With that being said, let's get right into it. Welcome back. My name is Rick McDonald. I'm Anything Lacrosse, and this is the game that never sits still. So starting off strong, leave me a comment on anything you want to see in these episodes, or just something that you know, an opinion that I don't like, or something that I can respond to. As well as go subscribe to this channel, follow the socials, the Anything Lacrosse Show, Anything Lacrosse on TikTok, my OG, and join the Discord. DM me if you can't find a link. I do post them quite often, but if you for some reason can't find a link, please DM me. I'll gladly give you one. There's great conversations in there, especially with the trade deadline today. So I'm going to run through the episode to start off the show here, what the plan is. So I will go over a couple topics here quickly. I'm not going to go deep into them because we've got a massive interview with, like I mentioned, Elliott Frickman, aka Ryan McMichael. He's my first returning guest. I love this guy. I know he gets a lot of hate right now. Daily Dive I haven't got to watch the show yet, so I want to go watch it, and I love those guys too. I don't want to sit here thinking that I'm bad mouthing Daily Dive, because I'm not. And I actually invited Mr. Captain to be on because he's the one really going at it that I've seen. Mike, I've been on with before. I'm sure we'll discuss the situation once I talk to him and stuff like that. I have no ill will to Daily Dive. I want to make that very clear. Like I said, I invited Captain on the show. He just couldn't make the time work, which is like, I didn't invite him till yesterday. I didn't invite Frick till yesterday. So like, it was kind of just with everyone. I wanted to get them both on here to share their point, but I knew Daily Dive was putting their version out, and Loose Mesh, man, those guys both have full-time jobs. They're, they're adults. So I think, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Daily Dive doesn't, because I know they do, but it's just like I don't think that their content was going that way. So I figured I would just I wanted to have Frick on for the Olympic stuff anyway, because that's a big topic that I'm trying to figure out and just trying to do research and do my due diligence before I go run my mouth. And I kind of do want to address that as well. So I'm here right now, is that last week I probably swore a little bit more than I even liked, especially during one part. I always listen to my podcast, the whole thing, once I'm done. And I didn't find it to be too bad, but what I did is I ended up accidentally clipping halfway back, and I clicked into like a part where I was just swearing a lot. So I wish I would have delivered the information a little bit better. And I'm still new to this, so I'm still learning, and I'm passionate. So at the end of the day, I'm passionate, and I don't want anybody to I want people to understand that I'm not trying to go on this witch hunt for Lacrosse Canada. I'm really just trying to make sure that the money that people are paying is going to the right places. Okay. So that's all it is. Love Lacrosse Canada. Shout out. They've done a lot of good with like camps that they've come in, and Frick does kind of talk about this. And now over the week, I have come back down to earth a little bit. When I was reading that, like I said, I was reading that kind of live while I was doing it. Maybe that was my mistake. I did look into it beforehand, but actually going through it with like a comb like that, it was kind of making me sick to my stomach, because those are massive numbers, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't fully understand, I'm sure too. I'm having Pierre Philly on the show later. He'll be on next week's episode to talk about him. He's the one that's been writing the articles about it. So I'm interested to get his insight on this. And if Lacrosse Canada is an open invitation, anybody can come on here and talk and say what they want to say. Like, I'm open to having you guys on here too. Just like this other situation, I want to have both sides. So back to this Daily Dive situation. There's a lot of animosity between these two that I'm seeing. And I didn't want to be put in the middle, but I kind of got dragged in here because people tagging me and stuff. So, some people can handle it differently. Some people ignore it. I just lean into it. I'm not going to ignore stuff if I'm going to get tagged by everybody and stuff like that. So you guys obviously want my 2 cents. So, I'm going to give it to you. Now, I'm trying to stay neutral in this. I'm not going to lie, guys. Like, I like both these guys. So let's start off this episode with just telling you what the structure is going to be, as always. Okay. So right away, we're going to get into, I'm going to go through a couple topics real quick. I'm going to touch base on the Daily Dive situation. If anybody doesn't know what's going on, Daily Dive, Loose Mesh situation. And then I'm going to go into the Bell trade that just happened that I was a little bit shocked. We'll go more into the trades, but that's the one I want to specifically give my opinion on, because I have a lot of Halifax fans, and people consider me, like, even somebody I was talking to today said, like, oh, you're a Halifax fan, because they were like messaging me when the trade went through. They're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I don't think people understand. Like, I'm not a Halifax fan. If anything, to be honest with you, I'm more a Tyson Bell fan than I'm a Halifax fan. But it's not saying I hate on Halifax. I love Halifax. I'm disappointed in Halifax right now. And we'll get into that in a second. But anyway, so I'm having Ryan McMichael on today. And like I said, it's not, I try to get Captain on here too. I want to hear his side, but they were going on this morning. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to go listen to it. I should have probably done it beforehand, but I just did, I've been busy. I'm doing lots of interviews, lots of content's coming, guys. I'm doing as much content as I can for you guys. So with all that being said, I wanted to get both sides of the story because I'm getting dragged into it, right? I'm tagged in things and text messages and all that stuff. And it doesn't matter from who. I'm not going to call anybody out specifically, but, and I'm fine because at the end of the day, I like to promote people. Okay. If that's Daily Dive, if that's Loose Mesh, if that's Lacrosse Classified, if that's, Adam Levy's Lacrosse Matrix, whoever that is, Brad Challenger, shout out to him too. I was just listening to his podcast today. Like I love this community, and there's this fucking animosity between everybody that maybe if you're not a par to it, you don't understand. So of course this is Twitter drama, X drama, whatever you want to call it. So basically it's just kind of back and forth. You're gonna hear Frick's side of the story. I think kind of, I'm not going to tell you my opinion till after. We'll talk about a little bit about it after. But the whole situation is this: they're going back and forth on X. Personal attacks are a little bit getting said, I think, and I think anybody needs to remember that we're all doing this out of the love of the sport, and that we want to try to grow the sport. I already seen it in my Discord. Like, people don't want to hear about this. Like, and I understand what you're saying to those people. Skip ahead. I get it. You don't want to listen to the drama. I completely get it. We're all grown men. I think it's something that some people do want to hear about. And I think it's also important to try to like air it out and move on, because like everybody should be trying to help each other, lift each other up. And personally, this is the funniest part about this. My point of view is everybody does. Like, and that's like, I feel like I'm a little bit kind of like skipping through the flowers in a rainbow behind me, because I feel like I'm just like, everybody's so nice to me. If you're talking Micah Carvelis, nice, right? If you're talking Elliott Frickman, nice. Like Ryan, I love Ryan, honestly. And Dawson too. I will always give Dawson, out of everybody in this community, no matter what, however old we, like, however long I end up here or whatever, right? I'm gonna be here forever, but you guys are stuck with me. But I will always attribute me getting out there because to Dawson, to an extent. Obviously, like, I put the work in, I'm the one making the content, all that stuff. But Dawson's the first legitimate guy that actually kind of started sharing my stuff. And like, he's the first one that really ever reached out to me. And so like, for me, as much as I love everybody else in this community, my alliances do always kind of fall to Dawson over anybody else, because he did that first, right? Now, I appreciate everybody in this community. I don't want anybody fighting. I think everybody needs to grow together. And I will, at the same time, if something is said on the other side, like from Loose Mesh that's offside, I'll be the first one to also address that, right? But with that being said, it's not that I feel like I owe him, but I feel very grateful that he just took this, like, he started sharing my stuff that when I was a nobody knew me. Like, I had under 100 followers on X, right? So it's like, and it was really like nobody like was really following me. I think I might even have like 60. Like, I just started my X, and I really just didn't have anybody on there. So I really, when people, I don't forget things, and when people help me out, or like they're like, for example, Ryan, he was on my show. He's on my show again, but he was already on my show, when episode 7, like, I think I started taking guests at episode 6. So he was my second guest. He was my second guest, I think he was, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe my third. I can't remember, because I'd have to go back and look. But like, the first couple were just me talking, right? And then I started bringing guests on. But so I hold these guys a little bit higher. I will say that. Like, I feel like, when somebody does something for you, you should definitely you don't just forget about that. So like, for that being said, that's why also I kind of wanted to give Loose Mesh there, or like Ryan, because Dawson's kind of stepped back from this. He doesn't really want the drama, and I don't blame him. But with Loose Mesh, like, you're kind of going to get some of it with this, because they keep talking, like, Daily Dive keeps going back at them, and more like Dawson Dawson, don't get me wrong, there's been things that have been said on all sides. Okay, I'm not trying to sit here and trash Daily Dive, because I do like those guys. Mike's had me on the show twice too. Like, Mike's shouted me out. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, well, Daily Dive's shit. Like, no, Daily Dive's great. And I know, some people, everybody has their own opinion on everybody. I'm sure there's people out there that hate what I'm doing, that hate the way I talk. Like, and I don't care. That's the thing. You can't hurt my feelings as long as you don't talk about anybody outside of me or the sport. Now, we should just keep it to lacrosse. You want to say my opinion's stupid? Fine. But trying to attack, and like, I will apologize when I do this stuff, because I had a follower reach out to me about this when I called the reporter a dummy, and I didn't really mean the reporter was a dummy, but it was like a dumb question, and that's what I more meant. But I understood how, like, that guy could take it, and I'm glad he took the time to kind of reach out to me. And at first I was like, yo, fuck that. But then I was like, no, you know what? This guy's right. Like, I should be more careful with my words and stuff like that. So, words have power to an extent. So I'm learning that as I go. And I think the other thing that gets mixed up in this that I want to mention is it's everything that kind of gets said is all through text. Like, whether that be group messages or text messages or on X. A lot of this is on X. And like, I talk about this with him. I'm not going to say anything bad about like Ryan without that. I wouldn't say to his face that I already did in this interview. You're going to see here in a minute. But like, he kind of comes off as crass, and like, he comes off as, maybe an asshole sometimes. And that's fine. Like, even towards what he commented on some of my stuff, right? Like, it's fine. But it's just like, and I don't think he's meaning to come off like that. It's just when you read it, you can't feel tone. And like, that's why I hate text. But that's why I always try to put like an emoji if I'm joking or something, just because like, I want people to understand that I'm not fucking this. Like, it depends on how you read it, right? So, and that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, we're not scholars here, we're just typing, like, this is the thing. A lot of times, it's just my thought bubble that comes out here, even this in these podcasts, on when I'm doing content on my X, like whatever. It's just my thoughts that I'm pumping out. So like sometimes if I say something, it might be misconstrued in a different way. And I think that's kind of what happens a lot of times with Ryan McMichael. Now, I have only heard one side of the story fully, so I will give credit where credit's due. I have heard partly the side of Daily Dive. Like I said, I'm going to go listen to them. And if they want to come on next week or something, I'll get them on, like, no problem. But they have their own platform to kind of do this. So does Loose Mesh. But I think they want to kind of stay away from this stuff. It's a little bit much. And it does kind of get into like rocky territory. But in all fairness to anybody bitching about this, I think that this is part of it. And if something's going on with these, what I consider to be one of the biggest lacrosse NLL creators out there, a couple of them, and especially these big media guys, like, I know they don't really look at each other like that. I look at them more like, where is everyone going right now for news? It's Loose Mesh. Loose Mesh just had a live show that everyone's talking about, everybody in the lacrosse community. So like, they're doing the numbers. They're like the two main, like, those guys are like the main source to the stuff. Daily Dive puts out stuff too. Like, don't get me wrong, they put out their information. So let's get right into the Tyson Bell trade, okay? Now, you know how much, like I said, like, everyone assumes I'm a Halifax Thunderbirds guy. Now, yes, I am in Moncton, and yes, I do love the Thunderbirds. But to me, Tyson Bell is the heart and soul of that team. Like, and don't get me wrong, there's other guys on there, right? You got the whole face. Now, Tyson Bell, the only reason I'm actually like even on somewhat of Halifax radar is because of Tyson Bell. He's the one that commented on my video when I was trying to choose a team. So he's the only reason Halifax is even in the running, because they didn't comment on my shit. So now it's kind of like, without him being there, now there's talk of him like going to Vegas and then just going right back to Halifax. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, it was surprising to me. I don't know how he's feeling. If these players know if they're gonna get traded or if they don't, or if it's surprising or if it's not. So I don't want to sit there and say that, but I have a funny feeling that he's probably a little surprised by this, because I think if you look at the beginning of the season, like, these guys are supposed to go on a run. They just beat Vegas, right? And I think if they would have beat Vegas decisively, I think they would have been buyers. But to be honest with you, you have to look at this team objectively, and you have to look at it. Okay, is this team going to be able to win a championship this year? Look at Saskatchewan, look at Georgia, look at Vancouver, look at who's the fourth one I'm missing right now? Colorado. Look at Colorado, right? Look at those four teams and tell me, do you think Halifax right now is playing on that level? No, they're not, right? They gave up. I've always done this. I don't understand the trade. You're never going to make me understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. And it might pan out, especially the way they're looking right now, where they're going into a rebuild. Now, I think that that's what's happening. They're going into rebuild. Other people, especially the Halifax fan base, which this fan base, like the NL fan base in general, is very positive. Like, I'm shocked, because if Halifax was my team, I'd be fucking on Twitter. I'd be blasting the management for this, because I think to trade Tyson Bell, a first and a second, possibly a third, it might drop down to a third, right? Because this is a trade. Tyson Bell, first round pick this year, their best one out of the three they have, or whatever, 3 or 4 they have. I think it's 3, or maybe it's 3 now. And then 2020, I think it's 2027 second round pick, which if Tyson Bell resigns in Vegas, it'll be a third round pick for Casey Wilson, which, to be honest with you, all I've heard about is this Casey Wilson kid. I haven't really watched that much footage of him. I've seen a little bit when I was looking over the draft picks last year, for sure. I definitely know he's good. He's supposed to be like a generational player, from what I understand. A lot of people say he should have went first overall this year. And if you look at the guys who went under, like if you go look at CJ Kirst, even Ty English there, that's not playing yet, but he is in college. You got Owen Hiltz. Like, look at these guys: Nolan Byrne, Owen Hiltz, CJ Kirst, like Sam English. Even, like, I know he was a high draft pick last year, but anyway, all those guys. This guy was supposed to go over them if he was healthy, if he was ready to go to play this season in the NLL. He would have went first overall, is what a lot of people say. So, will this look good? Yes, it could. This could be a brilliant trade. If all of a sudden Halifax goes on a skid here, which I mean, we'll see what happens. No Randy Stotts now. They're out. They're without Hogarth still. He's going to be out still for a while. I think he's done for the season, I'm pretty sure. Like, Randy Stotts is done for the season too, maybe playoffs. He might be back for playoffs, but it's an MCL tear, I think I heard. So I don't think he's going to be back. And but we'll see. It's Randy. Hey, in all fairness, it's Randy Stotts. He might be back for playoffs if they get there. Now, can they still make the playoffs? I mean, Warren Hill still had a great night, but like, how do you replace that defensive presence that Tyson Bell is? I am big on Tyson Bell. Like, I always say, I think he's one of the best defensemen in the league, right? Now, Cal, like Jones over there in Ottawa is, that he's just phenomenal as well. You have the Hosaks and stuff like that. Like, there's some guys you could argue for sure. And even like Michael Grace had an amazing season. But Tyson Bell, like, I watched him live, and the way he controls the whole floor out there when he's on defense is just amazing, right? So that's why I think, like, to give up him a first and a second to give him up, because he's probably not going to stay in Vegas, but maybe I'm wrong. Vegas has quite the team. They just need a goalie. And that's the thing. They didn't get a goalie. So what's up with that? We're going to go through that later though. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just have a hard time with this. And it's just one of those things, I guess. I don't know. I guess time will tell with this trade. I kind of think Vegas got the better of them, but again, this could turn into one of those things that Casey becomes their transition guy that can just control a whole game and make the difference. So, and the next two drafts are going to be really deep. Do you try to just kind of get high draft picks and rebuild? All the guys are getting older. I would have just liked to see them get one more chance with these guys. I would have liked to see Halifax get a championship. I think that would have been awesome for the city. And I just kind of, that's the only disappointing part for me. So selfishly, I wish they would have done this. But Tyson Bell going to Vegas again. They might not even make the playoffs. Chase Frazier, I don't know if he's out for the season. I haven't heard. He is though. I don't think he is. And it's just interesting to see, once Trace Frazier's back in that lineup, that team's completely different. Kells has flashes with Tyson Bell in front of him, as well as already the defense that's there. Like, I like Tony Malcolm. I mean, you never know, guys. You never know. I've said Vegas is better than the record shows. They had a really rough start to the season. Trace has been out most of the year, but or not most of the year, but he's been out for quite a few key games. And it's one of those things that I think they're still, they just need to figure out a goaltender situation. They're going to run with Kells, I guess, this year, and we'll see what happens. But this can be one of those trades that at the end of the day, they had to give Casey Wilson, but Vegas, like, I think Sean Williams, his job is on the line from what I'm hearing, right? So he's got to do something over there. Like, the pressure's on essentially there. They've thrown it to him and they want success. So, what are you going to do, right? You got to move pieces. And to be honest with you, like I said, if they go get a stud with that first round pick, then it's going to look like a great trade. So we'll see what happens. That's what I'm going to say about that one. I'm not sure yet. I haven't fully processed that Tyson Bell trade, but obviously I wish Tyson Bell the best. I hope Vegas goes deep. I love that. And Vegas, if they get to the playoffs, they might end up being my playoff team. So to be honest with you, I love Tyson Bell, and I love Halifax though, and I'm hoping they still can squeak in there. So, but I can tell you, I bet you if Tyson Bell knew he was going there, he probably wouldn't have played so hard the other night. So that's kind of shitty, to be honest with you. I don't know how he feels about that, because Vegas isn't really like a bona fide playoff team right now. So, but neither is Halifax, in all fairness. But I don't know. You're with your boys there. He loves playing with those guys, and it's a little disappointing, to be honest with you. It really is, in my opinion. But these Halifax fans, I think they're still got a chance. They need to win 5 out of 6 games, guys. And we're gonna go over that. So anyway. So there's topic one real quick, or there's both topics real quick, and we'll see what happens in Halifax, man. I'm not sure where they're going. So we're going to find out over the next couple weeks, I'm sure, and how many years Cody Jameson and all these guys still have left and how much gas they have in the tank. So I'm assuming Cody will be with the organization somehow. That's just my own guessing though. And yeah, so there you have it, guys. Let's get right into the Ryan McMichael, aka Elliott Frickman from Loose Mesh. Like I said, I've had him on before. He's still my most viewed episode on YouTube. So we'll see if this one gets more views than that one. That was his debut in podcasting, though. I would like to say that I did get him his first podcasting, so that's kind of cool. But he's a character, man, and like I said, like, to me, I've got like a lot of loyalty ties to these guys because of what they did for me. So you'll never catch me. First off, you're never gonna catch me saying anything bad about anybody that I wouldn't say to their face, right? So if I'm gonna call somebody something, I'm gonna say it to their face. I say it to their face before I say it publicly. So like that's where I try to live. Because then if you never say anything bad about somebody, you're never going to no one's ever going to hear that you did, or it's a complete lie and bullshit, right? So I don't really like to talk bad about people, and it's not great to do it. And I think that's just something that I've tried to master over my 34 years on this planet, right? Nobody's perfect, and I hope everyone can just get along. So with all that being said, I love Loose Mesh. I love Ryan McMichael. This is one side to the story. I want to put that out there. I haven't got Daily Dives. Go listen to their podcast from this morning. I'm going to go listen to it. Like I said, I would love to have them on the show. I'd still like to have, honestly, even without talking about this, just have Mike on the show or Captain on the show. Captain's got he's great at betting. I've watched him do it. Like, I know he's not full of shit. He puts his own money up there. Like, he's betting on what he's saying, which isn't everybody in this sport. He puts his money where his mouth is. And I respect him for that. Now with Mike's great too, right? So I would love to have Mike on the show as well, because I think Mike says a lot of stuff, and like, he's like me in the sense that we say a lot of things. Now, does he go over the line sometimes? Yeah, I do have to agree that he goes over the line sometimes. And I think that he probably could backtrack and maybe like apologize a little faster, or kind of try to look at both sides. But like I said, everybody's living, everybody's learning, and hopefully we can keep just learning and living, because Mike is the only daily show that does this. That's a lot of work. You got to give them credit for that. A lot of people like to make fun of him. I will see, I've seen it online, not just like, I'm not talking about Ryan or like Loose Mesh at all. I'm talking about in general, like online. I see people, making fun of Mike, and but that's kind of what you got to be ready for when you're putting yourself out there. I get it too. I don't care. Make fun of me. I don't care. So that's the thing. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the interview. Always a character with Mr. Ryan McMichael, and let's go, guys. Today we have our first returning guest, and no other than Ryan McMichael, Elliott Frickman, always dropping the best news. What's going on, buddy? How are we doing today?
First returning guest. Holy shit! Yeah. Look at me go. Hey, that's big. That's big. I guess I'm honored to be the first returning guest. You do great things, and I just want to, before we get into anything here, I just want to say how much I appreciate you, even though some people out here say I'm an asshole or I'm a bully or whatever, and you could be right. I'm definitely an asshole. Like I'm more than okay with that. But you know, I just want to say that like you do great work. You bring good attention to the game. I saw your video about Warrior. What happened there? I just caught the tail end of where you're saying how much you love Warrior because they hooked you guys up with a twig or like what? Like give me the details. What happened there?
Yeah, man. So first off, like, I feel the same way about you. Like, I like how you can criticize me personally. I don't take it to heart. You can say whatever you wanted to me. I would not take it to heart. I love the disagreements and all that stuff. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing as well. The thing with Warrior, basically what happened was there's a girl by the name of Pavi and she's on TikTok, and Bauer got on there and sent her a video saying, or sent her a message saying, I wanted to collab with you. And so she basically messaged him back excited. Like, I'm a Bauer guy. Like, I've always bought Bauer since I was like, my dad bought it for me since I was 5 years old. I've always bought it for my kids. Anytime I buy something, it's Bauer. Well, Bauer, anyway, they end up sending her a message back saying they sent her a cease and desist after they asked her to collab with them. So it was kind of a way to get her to email them back. All she was doing was reading off their public catalog and presenting her, like, what she thought about their product, saying all good things too. And they said, you have to take the videos down, right? Which she had no problem doing that. Which really bothered her was that they actually just reached out and like baited her, right? So anyway, we ended up reaching out to her, got her set up with some hockey stuff. So I made her video responding to it. It got 450,000 views on TikTok, and then basically Warrior Hockey hooked me up with Warrior Lacrosse. I already like Warrior stuff. I already use it for lacrosse and with my kid and stuff. And so we were in the DMs. I said, I don't expect you to send me anything, but they said, no, absolutely, we want to send something for your kid. And because in the video, I made a kind of a video response to Warrior Lacrosse about how good their equipment was, and that's when they all set this up. So anyway, they ended up sending me a stick and for my kid, and so he used it today, and he won the shootout contest at his
Nice.
at his his little training camp there. So it's been a good stick so far.
That's legit. Yeah, no, they have good athletes. I know that, so they got to be good people that run Warrior. But they have a nice stick. The Warrior Evo always used to be when I was there, always half decent. The Warrior Evo was my go-to twig, mainly because we got them for free somewhere. I don't know where, but I was also probably the guy. I was the guy that if you had given me a stick made out of a cardboard box, but it was free, I probably would have used that too, right?
That's what I said. I was like, I love Warrior stuff, but I'll use whoever sponsors me, right? Whoever sponsors me, I'll take it all day,
I'm for sale. That's 100%. 100%. I'm for sale.
I hear you, man. So, okay. So where do you want to start? You want to start with the whole drama going on Twitter, or you want to start with some Lacrosse Canada stuff?
Whatever. Yeah, it's your show, man. I'm just here to be a side piece to you.
Okay. Let's start with let's just get right to it with the daily dive stuff. Like, kind of give me a breakdown on your perspective on how this all started and like where the animosity comes from and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's your fault. This is your fault. This is your fault. You put that Lacrosse Canada thing up, and I didn't even I wasn't even attacking you whatsoever. I was just saying like, hey, I understand that the numbers are inflated, but so is everything else in life, right? And I know that the national teams and the provincial teams, like, they do a good job of taking care of the people that give back to the sport as well. And let's just preface this before I get myself into trouble here. I'm not standing up for anybody. I don't know a goddamn thing. I haven't looked into it half as much as you have. But where my problem lied with, and then not even a problem, but where my brain went to when you said that is that I know people in Lacrosse Canada, and it seemed to me like people were insinuating that there was some thievery going on. And if there was, then, shame on me for standing up for these people. But in the same sense, I just don't think that we can take a number on a sheet and say, well, this is so much more than before. Well, and as I said to you on the Instagram or the Twitter or whatever we were going on that day, so is a bag of milk. Oh, so is 18 eggs. So is the bag of chew that I just had to go and bought. That was $29 for Christ's sakes. Like, it's, we got to kind of take certain things into perspectives. And I'm sure you've done your due diligence, and I have full confidence that you know what you're talking about. But in the same sense, like, we said it on the podcast, there's three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth, right? It's almost like going out there and clipping out half of a conversation and putting it up online and saying, well, you're the bad person because you said this. What was led to Lacrosse Canada having an extra $200,000 in meetings, let's say? What's the extra to them paying for their coaches' flights to go to these national tournaments? These guys that are giving back to the game, some of them don't even have children that are involved in it, right? Like, there's so much more to it. And from my perspective, I just wish that we let the whole, and trust me, this kills me saying this, I agree with Jake Elliott, by saying we should have just let the whole process, the whole due diligence thing happen, the Terry Rayner thing happen, the replacement thing happen. And then, let's figure out, I'm not saying that he is, but is Terry gone because of this money? Is Terry gone because of these rules? Let the whole process play out before we start jumping in and saying, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. My opinion.
Yeah, so this is definitely a sticky situation. I'm not trying to witch hunt Lacrosse Canada or anybody on there. I definitely wanted to make it stand out that I wasn't trying to attack anybody specifically, especially Terry. I know he's super respected in the lacrosse community. I'm obviously new here, but I'm not trying to go after anybody. I'm a big numbers guy. So when I start looking through, now I'm not going to pretend like I said this too. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an accountant or somebody that has financial training education, right? But when I look at these numbers, to me specifically, which we can run through them a little bit here, they seem kind of out of place or very elevated. And I know what you're saying with inflation, but the problem that I'm having is not only is everything almost tripled in certain areas, but also they're planning on spending another over $4 million over the next 2 years kind of deal. So it not only costs have already tripled, but they're going to continue to double. And that's where I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? And when you start looking at the numbers, it doesn't add up to me, especially when one of the numbers is specifically they have their annual meeting, I think it's the end of March every year, and they ended up amending one of the travel or the meetings one. They added 93,000 when they went back to the meeting in September. So my point is like, why is it costing, how I read that, and I could be completely wrong in this, but it sounded like it was that one set of meetings or whatever that would have been a weekend. And this was in Fredericton, New Brunswick, that it cost them 93,000 when one of the options was to have if you couldn't make the meeting in person, you were allowed to Skype in or Zoom in. And why aren't we doing Zoom meetings if we're running an $850,000 deficit? So it's, to me, the other stuff like the development and all that stuff and the salaries went up a tremendous, but they also lump salaries and travel in. So are they, so it's kind of a confusing, I don't think it's not as detailed as I would like it to be, I think.
Well, and again, I've kind of grown up within the lacrosse community here, right? And this is the most active I've ever seen Lacrosse Canada be, within the provincial sides of it, right? And having, national development teams and training and winter meetings and winter workouts for kids and get ready for this camp, get ready for that camp. So, I would feel like there's been a lot more go into the program itself over the last couple of years, but we're going off a little bit off topic here. And we'll get back to this because this is obviously a major point of us talking as well. But so I had said that to you, and then the other Michael had come at me about something, and I just politely reminded him that he was somebody who went after Scott Loeffler, and I don't remember what it was because, again, as I said, I don't really pay attention to this. Most of the time, it's just amusing for me. But he had gone after a guy like Scott Loeffler, who I have more than the utmost amount of respect for, due to everything that he's done for the Williams family and upholding the Tucker Williams night. And if you go back and you listen to any interview, any thank you speech that any member of the Williams family does for these Tucker Out Lymphoma nights, it's always number one, I'd like to thank Scott Loeffler. I'd like to thank Scott Loeffler and the Buffalo Bandits. I'd like to thank Scott Loeffler for doing this. So, and everybody obviously knows my connection with the Williams family and how much I love them and how much they've done for Ryan McMichael personally. So when he goes after a guy like Scott Loeffler for something that was absolutely ridiculous a couple weeks ago, again, I don't remember what it was, I had a comment. I don't think this is the person that you should be going after, considering you're new to this lacrosse community, and this is somebody who's done a lot more than you'll ever do. So then it evolved, and he decided to comment on my intellectual abilities and called me slow, which, again, I firmly believe I'm from the Sticks and Stones area. Your words don't hurt me, but that's extremely disrespectful, right? To comment on my mental abilities and tell me that I'm slow. Yes, I've had probably well over 5,000 punches to the face. Yes, I've probably had a couple of concussions in my life, of course, but I'm far from slow. And to call me disrespectful, I'm far from disrespectful. Do I call people out on their shit? 1,000,000%. Am I also the guy that'll stand at the mall and hold the door for a busload of old ladies? 1,000,000%. Am I the guy who is, if I'm your buddy, am I going to go to war for you every single time? 1,000,000%. So for you to call me that and disrespectful, that's something that's, you know what, you're crossing the line now. You're attacking me as a person. This isn't about a little stupid Twitter beef going back and forth, commenting on something to do with lacrosse that I promise you, I've forgotten more than you'll ever know. Now you're coming at me personally, and you're attacking the person that my mother raised and the person that my father raised by saying that I'm disrespectful. And if you want to call me a bully for calling you out on your stupid takes, I'm fine with that. Everybody who knows me in my life knows that I'm somebody that has an opinion and speaks his mind. So that part of it doesn't bother me. But when you call me slow and you call me disrespectful, and then to top it all off, say that it's a shame that I coach kids with the way that I talk to people, you don't know how I talk to real people. You're not a real person to me, right? So for all of that, then, that set me off a little bit, yes. And then this captain fella, he's a side character to me. I don't understand what his problem is. He just needs to sit in the background and pretend that he wins bets. But like today was ridiculous, like involving Greggy and bringing up old messages and stuff. Like that's childish, which is why I just left it alone. But when you asked me if I wanted to come on and voice my opinion, I was more than willing to do that. Like now you hear it from my mouth, and like I don't know if anybody's really noticed too much of this beef that's going on. Is like you don't have much traction with people agreeing with you. So,
Yeah, man. I mean, I've had good experiences with both Captain and Mike, but I will say, like, I've seen them, both say kind of offside things online. I mean, but I also have, I think when you say so much stuff, it also, you sometimes do say stuff that maybe crosses a line or whatever. I do think people should try to keep it like, to sports or to look the game and not so much get into personal attacks.
You're allowed, you're allowed to have your wild takes on the game. And I'm good. I'm good with that. I say a lot of crazy shit too. And 90% of the time it's just to get a rise out of people. But like there was one back when Dawson was involved in this, and he called the indigenous culture this thing. And he was talking about how, and that really is how a lot of this beef started, because Dawson had an opinion on that. And Michael, without saying our names, said our names on the show, and Doss brought it to my attention. And again, like if you want to have a war on social media, 9 times out of 10, I'm the wrong guy. Cause like Doss gets a little upset about it and he gets fired up, and they involved Greggy, and Greggy got fired up out of it. I'm like, boys, like, what are we so fired up about? Like, this is funny to me. Like you guys are going at me on Twitter, and I'm just sitting back here having a toke on my pen, enjoying a lacrosse game, having a good time. I've had so much, and again, I don't want to make this into a cry and boohoo session, but like I've had so much wild shit happen to me in my life, to where like I've lost people that are super close to me. I've lost brothers, I've lost fathers. I've lived a wild life, right? This isn't going to, like, I don't think, like, I'll think about this now because we're talking about it, but in 10 minutes, like, I'm not thinking about this again. And to wake up this morning at 7:45 and to see a or a Twitter mention on a Sunday morning about a guy going at me for no reason. It's like, I sat there and I chuckled. I go, like, imagine waking up on a beautiful Sunday morning. It's supposed to be it was 15 degrees in Ontario today. Waking up on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning after the long, cold winter we have. And the first thing I think about is, I'm going to tweet at Frick. Like I'm living rent free in your head, and like you guys are you're basically battling yourself, and I'm just stirring the pot a little bit here and there. Like I don't get it. Like it's comical to me, it's funny, but it's it's to the point to where it's you guys want to get personal. Like I told you when we were talking, like I got a chamber loaded, and as soon as a certain somebody tells me, like, yeah, go ahead, it's over, and that's just the bottom line. But they want to go and air out our dirty details and tell stories that we've already told, and where'd the money go? Fuck, Steve Toll stole it. He stole it. Like, what more do you want? How is that our problem? He got sponsorship money and he never gave it to anybody. He stole it. So what? How's that on us? Right? Like, fuck, grow up a little bit. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So first off, I want to say, like, I've never had, I find you've always been respectful, and I do find that mostly you say your point. You might not say it, maybe you could say it a little bit nicer, but at the end of the day,
100%.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, man. I prefer a straight shooter like you that's going to tell me how it is, rather than somebody that's going to like put a bunch of flowers around it. Like, I don't care. Just give me the fucking point and move on. You know what I mean? So I think the big thing, and I want to pull up the exact message, because I think the big thing is he's like saying you're bullying a smaller creator. But to be honest with you, when I look at this, I find that you and Daily Dive are kind of the two big ones. Like, you got OTCB, obviously, right? You got the Lacrosse Classified. You got a few other ones in there as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I would say for breaking,
those two they're on a different platform than everybody else.
Yeah,
they're on a different level.
But like, well, I think that you guys are actually the ones that are breaking a lot of the news now, though. Like I said that to Dawson the other day. Like, you guys, I don't think you guys give yourself enough credit and how much actual attention you draw, because I mean, I hear a lot of stuff off you before I hear anything else. Here, this is a screenshot for you, I think, and it says, how long you been in the community? Curious, because the community I'm in love and loves me, calling him out for his dumbness, and the community is the NLL players. And basically, he's kind of, said, like, I'm calling your buddy Mike stupid, and I could care less about who reports what. He finds it necessary to try and calling us out about shit like picks, and now he's all but hurt. Joel was on with us. He wasn't the first to report it. No need to lie. And then the response was, who was the first to report it? And then you put, well, it was posted to our account. My question, so who you think? And he basically just said, they were not both your questions, and I'm still aware this was reported Sunday by other media. And then you put, he literally took our questions in someone else's video and said, I'm first to report this. To Clarky is mad at me, so I guess Lucas to ask first. I followed up with the second one. So basically, I think what's happening is, like, you guys had a group chat or something, and then things were said, and then everyone kind of raced to put it out. Is that kind of what happened?
I don't even remember the exact situation, but it was at the game to where Halifax had stirred up the pot a little bit, and we were standing up there with Lucas, and again, like there's a lot of backstories that this guy doesn't know, and he just shoots his mouth off about. That's crazy. I've known Glenn Clark since I was 4 years old. Him and my dad were teammates on 2 national championship winning teams. The guy's known me since I was a little kid. When I say something, you got to kind of think like it's most times people think that it's a personal attack, but because we've known each other for so long, when it's not, it's just me being a mouthpiece and me having my opinion. So because I knew he was going to be fired up, we're sitting there, we're shooting the shit up top, and I drop a hint to Lucas, hey, maybe somebody should get Clarky going about the shit that happened. So then it was basically, we were all down there after the post game scrum or whatever, and Dawson had tweeted out a bunch of stuff. And Mike always likes to have a competition with us when we know it's not a competition, man. Like, whatever, who cares? And he just tries to get it, and he makes fun of Dawson, or he makes fun of me for saying that we're first on things, and we're first on a lot of things, like you just said, and then calls us out for saying that we're first on it, but then goes out of his way to try and beat us to be first on things, and then call us out on it, and it just pick a lane. Like, if you want to have a comp, let's have a comp. And when I ask him how long he's been in this lacrosse community for, it's because I've never heard of this guy up until this year. And I know I've been around since 1998. Or 1988, sorry. Ever since my dad came to the Brooklyn Redmond, I've been around in this Durham region lacrosse community. So what these guys don't understand is the amount of messages that we have gotten since we started doing this podcast thing, telling us about how much better it is, that there's guys who actually understand the game and sharing their feelings about their daily dive thing on and how they portray their message and how they get their message across. And the fact that he's calling out guys like Jackson Subak. It's one thing to call out if you're Jake Henhock on the Creators game. It's one thing to call out Jackson Subak if you're him. Because Jake Henhock's been in this war. He understands the emotions that go on before going, what this Daily Dive podcast doesn't understand is that for a week, Jackson Subak and Tyler Biles were thinking about fighting each other. You don't understand the mental toll that takes on your brain, knowing that no matter what happens, you have to fight this other really, really tough grown-ass man. Okay, so these emotions that go into these things, and for them to go out there and call him out and tell him he's barbaric and a barbarian, of course I'm going to say that's stupid, because you don't understand what it's like for that whole week knowing, and finally those emotions get you, and those wires cross, and it's over. We're not thinking about the little kid. And I'm telling you right now, I know for a fact that there's nobody who felt worse in this whole world about getting in that fight with those little kids being there than Jackson Subak and Tyler Biles. But you're not thinking about that because your wires have crossed. The amount of messages that I get telling me from players in the league saying that, thank you for calling this guy out. This is ridiculous. When he made the Indigenous comment, my inbox flooded because me and Dawson just went right to the defense of, you can't say that kind of shit, man. You don't, without these Indigenous people, we don't have this game that we're all sitting here talking about, trying to promote and love. So the amount of messages from players, from other members of the Indigenous community that I got thanking me for calling him out and saying that. So that's what I mean when I say my community, my people, the ones that I care about are fine with me calling him out. And the parts of these messages that this guy's not showing is when he's messaging me saying the lacrosse community doesn't appreciate you and the way that you're talking about this, and we shouldn't be calling each other out like that. Well, obviously we live in different communities. If this is what your belief is and this is what mine is, because I'm not making this up. How many players have you seen comment on his tweets? Subak called him out when he called out Subak. Shanksy called him out, and then I came to the defense of Shanksy because Shanksy doesn't need to be doing that shit. He's my buddy. You see it all the time. If you've been in the battle or in the war, or you just understand the emotions that go on in this side of this game, then you can have your this is ridiculous opinion, because I guarantee you, if you have ever been there, you're not going to have that this is ridiculous opinion.
Yeah, so the fight situation, I always laugh at that, and I kind of, I disagree with his take on that one, and I do, sometimes I'll agree with some of his takes, and other times I'll disagree with them, but that one specifically, personally, the first person I sent that video to was my 11-year-old son. So, and I think that he was standing up for a teammate. I'm big on, I don't blame him. I think that you said it on your podcast. Selfishly, I wish we would have waited till the beginning of the game, so we could have got that fight maybe another time, and it would have just been more kind of news and attention to the league. But at the end of the day, and those kids have a story for life. They're never gonna forget that, man. So
I grew up as a kid with my dad being the toughest guy in the game of lacrosse by far. And I'm telling you right now, I was the most popular guy in Brooklyn, Ontario, because every single other little kid used to go and love and watch my dad fight. They're fighting. They're fighting. Yeah. So what? So why are we giving both teams all of the credit in the world for making a human shield around these kids and just allowing this to happen. Why aren't we bringing light to the abilities of guys like Christian Del Bianco and Rylan Hartley, who are in the front row for this, who all of a sudden just started to push everybody back? Like, why do we like? It's already negative. Like, it's a fight and warm up. It's not a positive thing. Was it awesome? Yeah. But it's not a positive thing. So there's already so much negative light on the situation. Why are we bringing more? Like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, I said it too. Is like, and again, this might be not a right take, but I said, if your kid needs to learn to get out of the way. If two grown men start fighting wherever you are, if you're out at the bar, if you're out at a restaurant, if you're out on the street, don't go into it. Get out. So I mean, I don't know, but so that was one thing. And the other thing I want to mention too is, sometimes I think things are misconstrued when they're in text. So when you're tweeting something, how you tweet it and how you're actually trying to intend it, maybe he's reading it in a different light. That's being like, oh, you're offending,
That's honestly, it's probably one of my favorite things in the world is when people try and read tone.
Yeah.
Like, don't read the tone of my text because you don't know what it is, because I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, it's me sitting here laughing, going, oh yeah, this one will get them. It's ridiculous, man. Like, it's, again, like sometimes I choose to, I wake up and I choose to stir it up. And sometimes I just like to sit back and chuckle, but it's for people to take this internet shit so seriously and like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try and bully you on a tweet, man. Like, if I'm going to mother F you, I'm going to do it right to your face. I promise. Right. And both times I've ever met this guy, hey, how are you? Good. Nice to meet you. Like, whatever. You're just another person in the world, man. And for you guys to like take this so seriously, it's, again, like I can't reiterate this enough, man. It's amusing for me.
Well, I mean, I know they are saying there's something going on tomorrow on the Daily Dive. I'm sure they'll be doing something. So that's why I kind of wanted to also, I mean, I already wanted to bring you on here to talk Lacrosse Canada anyway. So it's a good opportunity to kind of kill two birds with one stone kind of deal. But, I don't think you're trying to bully these guys. That's just my opinion from everything I've seen from both sides neutrally. And I think that everyone just needs to kind of like, work together and not so much worried about who's getting the things out first. It is what it is.
I've made my feelings known that I'm well aware that they're just doing it to try and get as many interactions as they possibly can. And, if I got to play the frick role and help them get a couple interactions, then so be it. It is what it is, man. I hope they get all of the clicks, right? Like, it's more attention is the better, and there's no such thing as bad press, right? So you guys want to air out the dirty laundry that anybody can just come and find me at any rink and ask me, and I'll tell you, that's fine, man. Go right ahead. Like, it is what it is. You're not like, it's he's saying he's going to say something about Edmonton, so that's going to involve Toll. I wasn't in Edmonton, so that's fine. So if this guy thinks he's going to break anything on the internet about Steve Toll that everybody already doesn't know, he's crazy. Like, it's whatever. It is what it is, man. How about her? I'm going to have it. Like, we're going to do our little trade deadline show tomorrow, tune in 10 a.m. live on YouTube. And I'm going to have my phone over on the side, just like trying to watch their little feed as well, just so I can see what it is. Cause like, I'm like, it's the old TV show, right? Yeah. It's the old TV show cliffhanger, right? Like, they end the episode right at something good. So then you got to tune in next week. Like, this guy did his job. I'm ready to tune in for the first time in a long time, man. Like, it's fantastic. It's free TV.
I mean, yeah. Hey, there you go. Right. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm always big on, like, I'm like you, right? There's 3 sides, the one side, the other side, and the truth, right? So I'm the exact same way as you. But to me, from looking outside in, I don't see enough that say you've bullied them, in my opinion. And I don't understand the narrative with you. What have you said that is so bad that people don't like? You have a lot of friends inside. Like, somebody must have told you straight up what the issue is.
No, that's the other thing is everybody wants to pretend they're your friend, and then when it's time to talk behind your back, they talk behind your back. I came to the realization a long time ago, and this is why I said it on our podcast last week, right? Like, there's very few people in this world that I actually trust. And is that a sad realization? I'm not really. I'm kind of the belief that I wish I realized this a little bit earlier, but like, nobody's really out to help anybody anymore, right? Sorry, let me retract that. There's very few people in this world that are out there for the betterment of the world. And am I one of those people? Probably not. Right. I do my best to try and think that I am. But, I'm going to, when I think something's wrong, I've just always been the type of person that says, well, I don't think that's wrong. And people find that, confrontational, or sometimes it's condescending. But for me, it's just, I'm of the firm belief that you have to challenge other people in this world to get better. And if I don't challenge somebody, and half the time I'm challenging you, it's because I don't understand. And this is my way of trying to understand what you're thinking, right? And I ask a lot of questions, and I talk a lot of shit, and it's just because I'm a nosy mother effer, and I want to know things, right? So if I personally feel you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying, can you tell me why tell me what you're thinking so I can think why maybe I'm wrong. Like help me get better. So I'm challenging you by helping me get better. Is that selfish of me? Sure. Do people think that that's me bullying them or trying to make them believe what I believe? I can't help how other people perceive my way of delivery. I only know one way, and I only know how to be one person, and that's Ryan McMichael. And unfortunately, is that the wrong way? It's obviously, because it really hasn't worked out for me. But again, I said this, if I wasn't being true to me, then I'm not really, I'm not being a real person, and I'm not showing my parents the respect of being the person that they raised. And that's just how I think. And I'm sorry if people try and take that the wrong way. And I'm not trying to be vindictive, or I'm not trying to be an asshole, but if that's your perception of me, then so be it. If you allow me the opportunity to change it, then, if know me long enough and you'll know I'm not an asshole. But if you know me for 10 minutes, of course you're going to think I'm an asshole. I'm loud and opinionated. And that's two of the things that this world doesn't want anymore.
No, absolutely, man. But I'm glad you're doing it. And, another thing that they did mention, or Captain mentioned, was basically that this is like an old boys club. It's hard to break in. Again, to be honest with you, I came in with no connections, and I'm sitting here with a former pro. So to me, I talk to pros all the time. I talk to a lot of media guys. Like, I don't fully believe that. I find it's more.
Here's the thing: is I'm not in the old boys club either, though. I don't have a job in the NLL. I'm not a media member. I can't even get a goddamn job doing senior B games. But because I'm loud and opinionated, and again, like this game, it's run by a bunch of people that it feels like they're afraid to get it out of the niche that it's in, and it's like they don't understand that you need this loudness, you need this opinionated, you need to start creating conversations. And without challenging people, how are you going to create the conversation? Without telling somebody, well, instead of doing this, why don't we try and evolve into this? But nobody wants to do that. And that's why, that's why it's, again, agreeing with Jake Elliott, it's driving me nuts. That's why it's like we're stuck in the mud. And like, I'm glad that you posted that clip, because I finally got to listen to it, and he's pretty much hitting the nail on the head here with, until there's massive changes at the top ends levels, like we're just going to be in the same Recycle Canada program, and it's just going to go around and around and around, man. And that's not the way that this game's going to grow. Again, just one guy's opinion, but I feel like this opinion is being echoed more and more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think if you don't have to come up with a new idea overly, you just have to copy what's already there. And if you look at, like, I always compare you to Biz from Hockey World, right? I said that in my video. It's like, you're kind of the same kind of, like, not traditional media guy, but that's not what people actually want to watch. They're sick of the prestige, like the prim and proper. They want to see a real person up there. That's what I like to see anyway. I prefer somebody like that, that's authentic, that I know I can trust when I'm listening to them, and that they're not suppressed by somebody telling them what not to say.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. That's kind of like what I'm striving to be, is somebody who, I'm me. Like, if I don't change the way I talk to you on this camera from the way I talk to a guy I've known for 30 years. Like, I can only be me. And if that works for some people, then that's amazing. And, I promise you, every single time we're doing this, like, I give you my all, and I sit here and I watch every game so that I'm at least educated enough to have some of the ridiculous opinions that I do have. But in the same sense, like, look how long it took for the world to adapt to this new form of media that people like Barstool have brought. There was a 20-year plan in the making for them, and they're finally just reaching the peak levels. Like, and we're stuck far behind the NHL and those professional sports with the NLL. So for us to try and evolve with the media side of it, then it's just another step. And if it's got to take some time, it's got to take some time. If guys like, me and you, and even like the Daily Die folks, if we got to be a stepping stone for the next people behind us to, be a little bit better, and maybe that generation, this kind of takes off a little bit more, than perfect, right? Like Teddy and Patty and Jake, they do a great job. Right. But they're also, they're league guys, and that's who has their paycheck, and they can't say the same crazy shit that we do. And they have a way more of a line to toe in. And that's got to be even harder, because I can just come on here and be an asshole. Right. Like they have to actually, like, toe the company line. And I have more respect for what they do and how they do it than even ever looking at what I do and having a thought that this is as impactful as the information and the content that they bring.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are obviously like at that elite level, and but I do think that there's definitely a room for guys like us to get in here and really make our mark. There's not, the nice thing is there isn't anybody yet, right? So we're kind of pioneering that, and I personally love it, honestly. So before we move on to the next topic here, do you right now, this might change after tomorrow depending on what's everything said, but as of right now, like, is there any ill will towards the Daily Dive guys, or just like, keep doing what they're doing, all that kind of stuff?
Again, man, like I'm not going to think about this until the
Yeah.
next stupid tweet pops up or somebody else texts me and says, "Oh, what did you do to piss these guys off now?" Cause like, again, like I don't put any thought into it, man. They want to go and try and up their viewership by bringing us into it, then have at her, boys. Like, again, if anybody who actually wants to know the truth, like, reach out. I'm good. Everything's good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you going through that. And like, like I said, I hope it just kind of all blows over and we'll see what they end up putting out. Personally, I'm not a fan of putting out people's private text messages and stuff like that. I think it's a bad look, and I don't think that's the right approach to going about this. But
well, and here's the other thing too, is like, who are you going to get information from now? You've just proven that you're willing to fire people's fucking personal texts out in public. Who's giving you information now? That guy, I don't like, that was when I stopped commenting back, because if you're going that far into it, and that we're not talking like these were texts from like last week, like these were months ago, right? You're going that deep into the vault, man. Like, what, you're gonna text somebody and ask them about a trade, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy that fired Frick's text message out there." Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. That's one good thing about me, is people know that I'll take shit to the grave, right? So when people tell me information, they're never worried about where it's gonna come or whether or not it comes back to them, right? You just proved that you're not a trustworthy source to give information to, so that's cool.
yeah, man, it's all you have is your word and your reputation, and that's really all you can do. I know they have guys who definitely ride with them, and they have their guys that for sure that are, I'm sure they trust them, but everything's kind of, we'll see how the rest of everybody else kind of takes this. Just everybody has their own mindset, and everyone kind of, we'll see what everyone thinks. I just don't, like I said, I don't personally think it's the best route. I think that stuff should just be handled in private, and just keep growing the game of lacrosse.
Yeah, move on. We're good.
All right, so let's talk it. Let's get into Lacrosse Canada stuff. Have you looked at the numbers at all or no?
I had to, because again, like, I don't like arguing about stuff that I'm not at least I can Eddie Haskell my way out of it, right? But
Yeah.
it's like again, like, I'll give you full credit, man. I haven't deep dove into it like you have, but I've glanced. Yes, I've glanced.
So there's a lot of numbers here that obviously, like, it's not like I would like it to be, I guess is the best way, but I'm sure there's a reason for that. Like, their investments overall are down almost $200,000. Capital assets are up like 12,000, but they're down. Total assets are down $400,000, a little over $400,000 from year over year, right? Then you've got, where's the next one here?
So just for like reference sake,
Yep.
Do you know what type of a deficit Hockey Canada runs at? Or do you know?
What? That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head.
Do you know what type of deficit Golf Canada runs at? Because again, like,
Nope.
if we're gonna, and I love the conversation, right? And I'm here for the argument, whether or not people, I like to call it a conversation, okay? But people seem to think that it's arguing. So whatever, call a spade what you want to call it.
No, it's a conversation for sure.
But if we're gonna throw Lacrosse Canada under the bus for running at such a terrible deficit, and again, I could be making myself look completely ridiculous right here. You could, as soon as I'm done shooting off, you could say, well, Hockey Canada runs at a plus $200,000 increase every single year, right? But until all of those numbers are clearing out in the day, like, how do we criticize them for running? And again, like, don't get me wrong, like, that's a ridiculous amount of money that you're losing, and people do deserve to know where it's going. But where's the rest of the national sports? What kind of deficit do they run at?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good point. Actually, that's something that I'll do digging about, because I didn't even think of it like that. But that's a fantastic point. But just speaking on these numbers, what worries me is the trend I'm seeing when I'm going down here. So, like clinic fees, they were up from like $1,000 roughly, but then you had contributions. Sports Canada, they contributed $475,000, and in 2024 it was $585,000. Now, I'm not sure if that means that that's what they got from Sports Canada, or if that's what that means they contributed to that. But I'm assuming it's to me, when I'm reading it, it looks like it's what they're contributing to those organizations. And like here even says Coaching Association of Canada went from $32,000 to zero. Development grant, they got a development grant of $53,000. So like compared to zero the year before. So they're getting more money and investing less in the future of lacrosse. From what I'm reading, I could be wrong. Like I said,
I would assume that $53,000 is gone in one weekend for fees to have one age group get to practice for a day at the Oshawa Civic Auditorium. And when in realisticness, they have a U15, a U17, a U19, a U21 program all going for a day. That $53,000, you have to time, and this is just for one weekend, let's say. You got to times that by 4, because field rentals aren't cheap. Field rentals aren't cheap anymore. You have to have people that are there that are taking time off of work to go and help run this thing. So you have to feed them. You have to give them a little bit of compensation. If you want the best minds in the game, like the Dyson Williamses, the Graydon Hoggs, the Brock Haleys, the Jeff Teats, the Riley O'Connors, if you want these guys in your program, I'm sorry, but like lacrosse used to be the game to where people would just show up for free and help the next generation. It's not that anymore. Those guys need to get paid.
Well, I'm 100% for everyone getting paid. I'm just not for people taking advantage. And I'm not saying that's what's happening. I want somebody, I would love an accountant to kind of take this on and look through this, because they're going to know. But I've been even talking to some people that run nonprofits, and like I was kind of explaining some numbers, and they said it kind of sounded off, but then they did do an independent audit and everything came back good. So with that being said, I'm not exactly sure I haven't looked into how credible the independent audit company is or anything like that, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Like registration fees went up again this year. Like this last year, it went from in 2024, they had $23,730 in registration fees for coach registrations, and it was $116,300. So a lot more registration fees. Same as the official registration fee, almost doubled from $35,000 to $60,000. Participation fees went from $153,000 to $447,000. Minto Cup, they got $5,000 from. National champion registration was down a little bit, about $12,000. National team contributions were down $23,000 from year over year. Sales were down from 19,000 to 2,000. Like it keeps going on and on. You know what I mean?
But sales for what though? Like then that's what
I'm assuming. It's not broken down, so I'm assuming it would be March, maybe. I would think.
Yeah, but like everything, right? Again, everything in your life is more expensive. So when you go to that national title or that national tournament, and you're looking at a $75 sweater, or taking your two kids out for dinner and spending $150, like I'm sorry, but like there's certain things that have to take precedent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another thing though. Administration was up about $37,000. Audit and legal was up, $60,000 almost. Coaching development was up a little bit. Grant expenses were up a little bit as well. Like these are just kind of like petty numbers at this point. National championships, here's the meetings. The meetings one is what really got me up from $155,000 to $44,000. When we're running deficits like this, it just drives me crazy that they would go to an in-person meeting. And how did they spend all that money in meetings when they only did? I think it was 2. I could be incorrect about this, but I'm pretty sure it was only 2 in-person meetings the last year that they did that.
What do you?
I'm a massage therapist.
Okay, so if you look at the COVID numbers from when everybody was doing meetings on their computer to meetings to where everybody's actually in person, productivity is up almost 50% from where people are in person over on a Zoom meeting, right? So if the Zoom meeting, is that an option for somebody who just can't get there? Of course. But do they want to be having all of these Zoom meetings? And, like it's a lot easier for everybody to discuss things and be productive when everybody's in person. And you can have these little side talks, and you can go off to the bar and have a drink with somebody. And that's where the real brainstorming and the real idea making happens. It's not while everybody's sitting there in the actual meeting. So I feel like the face-to-face aspect of it is, again, like, yes, a fiscally responsible way to do this, of course, right? But what about, at what point do we have to not worry about the money and worry about the face-to-face interaction to where John from New Brunswick can sit down and talk to Pete from Victoria, and that way we can merge ideas to where the Victoria person is the 30-year lacrosse veteran and the New Brunswick person has been in the game for 5 years, but is in the game for all the right reasons. And all he wants to do is grow the game. Are you going to get that same interaction on the computer? No, you're going to get it sitting down having a whiskey at the bar.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with that. That's a good point that I didn't really think of, I guess, before, where if a lot of stuff is kind of when they're out of the meetings, relaxed, and in that relaxed setting, they're doing those things. I still think it's excessive to triple it. And I find that I find a lot of my clients even now, they're actually more productive at home because they're doing stuff like they're checking their emails at 9 o'clock at night to set themselves up like for the next day. Now there's a completely opposite side where I've heard people had 8 jobs over COVID where they were just half-assing the jobs and collecting paychecks, right? So there's definitely a spectrum, but I think there's definitely an argument to be made that there are people who are way more productive at home.
Your personal productivity would increase at home, yes. But your social productivity to where you have to have conversations with people and you have to have ideas and you have to, take what you learned in this meeting and go and talk to somebody else about it and continue the conversation. That is what I find would be hindering as opposed to being face-to-face over being on the computer. That's basically what my point's trying to be.
The other thing I do want to point out too is I don't know why they chose Fredericton, New Brunswick, because like you think they would choose a more like central location, like Toronto or, like a Vancouver or something, at least somewhere like more centered. So it's around where people are living, or because New Brunswick, like it takes an extra flight to get here. So that increases all those costs as well. So to me, like when I think about it like that way, I even think that it's been mismanaged a little bit. It just, again, I'm only some dummy some dummy fan, right? So, it could be way off base here, but that's just the way I see it.
assume, now I'm like you, just a guy shooting off out of microphone. I don't know anything, but I would assume, being the participation ribbon generation, that because lacrosse is new-ish in New Brunswick, somebody with a female name, more than likely starts with a K, complained that all of these meetings have always been in Toronto and have always been. Why is it fair, not fair that we don't get a meeting? That's what I'm going to assume, because you're right. It doesn't make sense not to have this meeting in St. Catharines, where the OLA office is, or Toronto, or Oshawa, or Vancouver, or you're right. It doesn't. That's where the majority of these people are coming from. But I'll promise. And again, this isn't a shot at anybody, but it's the same. It's the same reason as why is the Founders Cup in Nova Scotia?
Well, New Brunswick, actually, this year it's in New Brunswick.
Okay, sorry, that's what I was thinking of. New Brunswick lacrosse. I love you. Okay, my friend Chet Koneski was a major part of trying to bring a lot of lacrosse to New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and the whole parts of the Maritimes. Okay, you're not winning the Founders Cup. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I sincerely apologize. Please don't not try to win. Please don't not go and hit the wall tonight. If Rick says I'm not going to win, I might as well quit. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't quit. But you're not winning. So why are we making, why isn't the tournament, why don't we make the tournament better and have it in Ontario where we at least have 2 Ontario teams, or have it in BC where we can have at least 2 BC teams, or even like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, go win it in spite of Frick. Even do it because he said you can't.
Yeah,
but, no,
fuck me.
Even Nova Scotia though. Like, I mean, I'm in Moncton, right? So I'm like, it's a bitch to get our flight out of here, man. Like, it's more money. My sister's flying into Halifax tomorrow from Mexico because it was $400 cheaper. So it's like, even to be in Halifax would make more sense than this, in my opinion. But I don't know, man. They're just what you're saying, right? They're trying to get everybody involved. The meeting thing, I don't understand, because that's not, at least the Founders Cup's like an event where people are going to go out to. The meetings is a bunch of fucking board members that can sit in Toronto. It doesn't matter if they come to New Brunswick, you know?
No, they're probably nothing was accomplished. Like, I'm not here to try and, like, I'm not Team Lacrosse Canada, right? Like,
well, I am Team Lacrosse Canada, and I said, like, I'm not mad at Lacrosse Canada in the sense. I'm more mad at, like, whoever was managing this and made these decisions. I'm not going to pretend like I know who that was, but, you know, when people start stepping down, getting fired, whoever you want to call it, that's not great, and that's smoke. And usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And then I looked into the numbers, and it's an $850,000 deficit. And here's the number sitting right now: $850,000, $155 deficit, 2025. That's not going forward. So that's based off of March. So we're going to see what the mess is this year.
Oh, it's bad. Like, that's bad. It
went up for, dude. It quadrupled. It went from, they ran a deficit of 194,749. So I understand with you. I'm the same way. Everything's getting more and more money every day. But to quadruple your deficit in 1 year, it blows my mind. To have to ask us, they had asked, the Dusner Fund or something for $250,000 to make up, because they didn't get money off one of these grants. And I personally think, again, this is just me looking and piecing everything together, I think they looked at their financials, said, you guys don't, well, they basically said this. They said, you guys don't have any goals, so we're not going to give you the money.
It's a clusterfuck, that's for sure. But to round off our point here, I just wish everybody would look at everything else first. Right? Like, if their registration fees are up, which, trust me, I know they are, but like, so is rental fees. So is the abilities to even get rentals, right? Like,
yes.
I know Ontario Lacrosse runs the Team Ontario program, okay? But it's ran the same, and money's put into the same things that they are. But when you look at one of these, or again, we can change it. When you look at one of these national team programs, camps that they have, it's 4 teams, plus, like, not just the boys, 8 teams if you include girls, which means you need 10 fields, 100 people to work it for you, however many coaches. A lot of this stuff adds up and costs money. If I'm getting $50 last year to run private lessons for a kid, I'm getting $75 this year. If I'm getting $75 this year, I'm getting $100 next year. Everything is incrementally more expensive. So when we're seeing all of these monies go in and out, where are they? What I really want to know, and before I put too much foot into my mouth, is where are they going?
So I'm gonna give you off some more numbers here, because this is all public knowledge too, right? This is on lacrosse.ca in case anybody does want to go listen to it or look at it. I've had some people reach out and I've given them the information too, because nobody's talking about it. So the administration went from $36,000 in 2024 to $157,000 in 2025. Their governance was basically the same. The governance didn't change, $32,500. Their salaries, fees, and listen to this. Their salaries, fees, and benefits.
I need to understand something. When you say administration, what are you meaning? Like,
good question.
The amount of money that they're paying people to work there?
No. It doesn't look like it, because let me just finish these numbers off, and then you can ask whatever, okay? So
well,
it's just the cluster numbers I want to go through.
I forget things with all this information going in.
Yeah, so the administration is $157,000 this year, up from $36,000. So, almost 5 times the amount. So salaries, fees, and benefits we're at $722,526, up from $160,000. Like, that's crazy.
But didn't they add like 5 top level jobs?
See, I'm not I thought from what I was reading, I thought they only had 10 board members, and so like I
But
don't know
okay,
how
but
many.
board
I understand what you're
member
saying. Like yeah,
board like for example, Terry Rayner wouldn't be considered a board member. Dustin Dunn isn't considered a board member. And these
I
were
thought they.
people they're people who are employed by Lacrosse
Yeah,
Canada. Lacrosse
yeah,
Canada board members are all the Jims and the Johns and the Jeffs
yeah.
that sit at these big tables and make these decisions, and these other people just implement these decisions. Right? So
Yeah, so that's another.
when I say wasn't their jobs added, like Tracy Koloski, for example, I'm positive he had a job added through Lacrosse Canada to where he's like the executive director of the National Development Team program. And Dustin Dunn got a job, and I don't know what his is, but he was working close by Terry Rayner. And like so,
Yeah.
when that number has grown so much by 5, 6, 7 hundreds of thousands of dollars, I feel like there might be 4 or 5 $80,000 a year jobs that are included in that astronomical growth number. Like, does that make sense?
So just a quick rundown. This is just ChatGPT, so take it with a grain of salt. And I'll look into this a little bit more. But it says the organization has 8 full-time employees running operations like administration, communications, marketing, and partnerships. And some sources estimate around 10 or 11 total employees, depending on contracts and how the roles are countered. So basically, like if we're talking what you're talking 10 or 11, and how many other that number to me doesn't make sense.
No, because I can tell you 4 just off the top of my head that I'm friends with that work for Lacrosse Canada.
Yeah.
Right. So for them, that has to be an old number. Because again,
yeah, I'll
know,
look into that.
Like Keelan Pilon. That's a newly formed job. I'm very good chance I'm wrong. I don't think I am. That's a newly formed job that Lacrosse Canada had given or had started this year. Dyson Williams, another newly formed job this year, right?
Yeah.
So like that's what I mean. Like I think there was newly formed jobs to where at least if that number is accurate, then at least we can equate to where that money's going, because you can put 1 and 1 together and it still equals 11.
And to be honest with you, I wish I could go in and see exactly who's getting paid what, because it's a public company. But maybe I can if I dig a little deeper. But it's something I'll definitely I've got on here. But I don't. It's saying here it's only about 10. Like I don't really want to throw anybody's names out here. But
I know when I.
Well, full-time staff members. So they might bring in other guys on as like contract work or something, maybe.
I know when I use ChatGPT to sometimes I get bored at work and I like to write.
100%.
I like to write lacrosse articles.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I use ChatGPT, it gives me a couple years ago numbers or last year numbers, right? So like again, like I appreciate your preface with take a ChatGPT, take it with a grain of salt, right? So again, like it's not going to be cut and dry. Obviously, there's going to be things indoors that you have to open to find out all the information. But
that's the thing. I will go look into that a little bit more just to make sure. But because I'm the same way. Like I just wanted to do that quickly just to see, since we're sitting here talking. But another big one: operations and programming. Like 711,000, up from 96,000. Now again, programming. I don't really like how they clump certain things together either. I'm not a big fan of that.
So again, just like sitting on the outside hearing what you have to say there, I would think that the programming part of it would be a lot to do with that new national development team program that they had started, trying to follow the Hockey Canada model, which I'm 100% an advocate for at certain ages.
Me too. I want the.
Do I think it's, why are we doing a national development team at the U15 level? Do I think that's a little egregious? Yes, but who am I?
I mean, they do it. I guess they do it in hockey, and that's what
they're trying to do, and I get it, right? The national development team model is proven to work with the success of USA Hockey right now.
Yeah,
it's a proven thing that works. They started it about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You have the Austin Matthewses, the Matthew Tkachuks, the Brady Tkachuks, the Hughes brothers. You have all of these guys that graduated this system. Now it's starting to come to fruition. Am I 100% an advocate for it? Yes. But at the U15 level, I feel like you can play club lacrosse and get the same out of it, right? Like, you know, let's not try and make these guys professional athletes at 15 years old.
Yeah, so I just wanted to run through those numbers with you, because like I said, I didn't want to report on this until I kind of went over it, and I'm not trying to, you know, put anybody's head on a stake or anything like that. I know Terry's very respected, and he's kind of, to me, it seems like he's kind of somewhat of the scapegoat here right now. Not that anybody's saying that. It's just kind of like because he just was on Lacrosse Classified. He's kind of like he was the face of lacrosse or Canada, like Lacrosse Canada, right? So I think that he's kind of getting a lot of heat.
I feel like somebody. I'm not going to say who, so don't even ask.
No,
but
of course.
Somebody had said to me that was a guy with like the Jeff Teets and the Brett Dobsons promoting lacrosse in the Olympics, LA 28. And it wasn't Terry Rayner. It was another fella. I forget what the name was, but so I think this might be something in the making, and they just used all of the new rules and the money as their scapegoat to get rid of Terry Rayner. But again, like this, everything that I've dug into this and everybody that I've asked has just always have had the same answer of be patient. Everything's going to come out. You know, there's legalities involved in it now. I feel like it's, fuck, I hate saying this. Jake was right when they say that, you know, you got to let certain things in life, you have to let due process play out for. And again, I know Terry. I reached right out to Terry. I go, like, come on, man. Like, we're friends. Like, give me something. And it's like, I can't, like, I don't want to get in trouble. So like there has to be more severity to this than they're letting on. I 100% think Terry's a scapegoat to this. I think they're using all of this deficit and somebody had a coup in a back boardroom somewhere and he got played. And unfortunately it happened to a good guy, but that's kind of like just like the way that this seems is the good guys got taken advantage of, and the snakes always seem to swizzle their way up to the top, right? But I don't think it was anything wrongdoing. I think they're just using, as I say, they're just using this as cloud cover for something else that, you know, like they slid the rules out and then they fired Terry and then the monies came out, and it just too many coincidences that are leading up to none of this is real. There's something else. I'm a conspiracy. I love the conspiracy theories.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you giving me some info on that or whatever. Like I said, I'm not trying to. I want to do this cautiously, but I also want it to get out there. And I'm like I said in the one video I did, I said it's so easy to be better than Hockey Canada right now because of all the stuff they've gone through. Like Lacrosse Canada has such a good runway, and it's just something like this would just be like screw it up, or not screw it up, but put a dampering on it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was you that said it's a low bar, right?
Yeah.
It's really it's a real low bar, but at the same spot, like we need to make our game better before we worry about the boardroom shit. Like let's get the right people involved in the game and don't make it so hard for a junior kid who wants to give back to his organization by making him go to 20 hours of a classwork. And, you know, like just trust people on their life. Like life experience is just as good as anything you're going to learn into a classroom. And I feel like that needs to be our number one priority. And, you know, some of the things that Lacrosse Canada is doing, it's good right now. Like, you know, I really want to shine light on this national development team program. Like it's got some good benefits, and to where we can maybe, you know, change the narrative from our country just being a hockey country. And yeah, we're a lacrosse country as well, but we're very, very niche. And, you know, we're continually getting in our own way. And for us to be successful, like we need to broaden the horizon, and we need to not hold loud opinionated people down because we don't like their opinion. Well, there's a lot of people in the lacrosse world that don't like the people who run the show's opinion. And all they do is muzzle us and hold us down. And why can't we hold them just as accountable as they hold us? Like I got in trouble during, and now we're talking, this is the President's Cup. I coached minor lacrosse. Minor lacrosse, we were done at the start of August. The President's Cup is at the end of August. So technically my contract for coaching minor lacrosse would have ended the minute my last game ended, correct? Well, I'm sitting there during the President's Cup, and I made a comment about one of the league commissioners being a little upset that, you know, Ontario guys had left Ontario to go play Senior B on the res, and he was making it a little bit more difficult for them to play by trying to, you know, use the very, very loosely worded gray rules to their advantage, which, hey, good on you. Nice try. But I got a phone call from the OLA office telling me that my tweet about saying that was in contempt of some code of conduct agreement that I had signed by being a coach in Ontario lacrosse. Well, no, this is my time now. This is Ryan McMichael's time. I'm sitting here as a paying customer. I'm allowed to have my vote. No, you're going to be suspended if you don't take that down. All right, I guess I'll take it down. But that's what I mean. Like we can't question anything that they do. But I'm not allowed to make a tweet I'm not allowed to make a tweet a month after my volunteer commitment to make your game better. Pardon?
See, I think that it's a little soft in lacrosse. I will say that compared to like other major sports because they haven't had the media attention on them. So some of the players, not everybody, some guys got really good thick skin. Other guys take it a little sensitive, a little personal. Same as like obviously the league guys are a little bit, some are a little sensitive as well. And I think they're gonna have to listen to more of me, like guys like me and you, kind of criticizing them, right? And I do it out of trying to better the game, not because I hate this game.
Speaking of our game being so soft, do you watch other sports as well?
Yeah,
like outside of hockey.
Sport.
So do you watch college basketball?
I watch March Madness.
Okay, this happened a couple of days ago. There is a clip of Dan Hurley, the coach from the University of Connecticut, and he is absolutely screaming at the top of his lungs in this referee's face. This referee's just standing there taking it, got it out. Buck and Hurley went back to the bench, sat down, see you later. Bye.
See, and
did you see Josh Anderson get thrown out 3 weeks ago for yelling at the referee?
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I did see
you
that.
would never see that in any other professional sport. Like, what about like baseball? They're kicking dirt at each other, other effing each other right in their face. Like, I know what you had for lunch. You were so close to my face right now. Like, we can't hold anybody in, and when I say we, I mean people who coach in the game, advocate for the game, just even do anything involved in the game of lacrosse. We cannot criticize the powers that be 1%, or else we are getting our PP absolutely smacked like you stole the last cookie out of grandma's cookie jar. Like, it's ridiculous. But they can continually make wrong calls, wrong decisions, implement rules into the game to where the whole lacrosse community isn't even privy to this information until 3-4 weeks before tryouts, 6 weeks before a season starts. And we can't say anything. And if you do, you are in so much trouble. Like, so much trouble.
I think that if it's minor lacrosse and there's some kid out there, maybe not, don't get too mad at him. But if you're getting paid to be a referee, if you're at that level, and not like, the minor guys like that are paid $20, but if you're paid at like a decent amount of money, and this is somewhat of your full-time job or even a consistent part-time job at this basis, and we're talking full-time rates for other sports, like, those guys need to have thick skin. They're going to get a little bit of yelled at. You're playing an intense game, and you're the one making the game. It could change the whole game. So, and I think if the coach isn't getting mad at that, then they're not doing their job, in my opinion.
We've had this conversation on our podcast a bunch because it fires me right up. I got 2 penalties in field lacrosse this year. Like, coaching penalties. The one time I said, "Can you please? I'm sick and tired of hearing from you." Boom. All right, no problem. That's fine. Excuse me, sir. May I have a word? That's it. I'm sick and tired of this. Blah blah blah. Like, man, like, if you can't have an adult conversation with another adult, who cares if I'm yelling? If you come and talk to me, I'm not going to yell. Like, and that's what I don't like. I coach in this other league, the Arena Lacrosse League. And it's like the one guy, there's a player, 2 weeks ago, there's a player yelling at me. And finally, I had enough. I turned around to their side of the bench. I go, "Listen, okay, you should just rest up for senior C, because that's the best lacrosse that you're ever going to play, okay? Don't come at me chirping me. I've made the NLL. I've been in the WLA for 10 years. I played in Major Series lacrosse. I just enjoyed after the game a lot more than I enjoyed training for the game. Okay, there's a reason why I didn't have a long NLL career. It's because I didn't want to go and work out. I wanted to go to the bar and have pints with my buddies. Boom. I was just good enough to play in the summer in the same league that all the goddamn professionals played in, by the way. Just throwing that out there. So when some no-name nobody is yelling at me from the bench, I'm like, man, you don't have the right to yell at me. I've been punched out by tougher guys than you'll ever fight. I've scored goals on better goalies than you'll ever shoot on. Like, don't you dare chirp. Like, I don't think I'm somebody, but I know I'm better than you. And then the referee is yelling at me, telling me to stop. So I tell him, "You worry about yourself, man. I got me. You worry about you." And then I go to question a call. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you worry about you." Well, no, that's not how this works. You're paid to explain things to me. You're paid a very, very handsome wage in this league, by the way. You're paid to have communications with a coach. You're not allowed to tell me to shut up because I'm yelling at a player who's been yelling at me for the last 5 minutes. And as soon as Ryan McMichael says anything, you're going to come at me. But you let the player run his mouth for the last 5 minutes. But then as soon as I go to ask you and challenge you about a call, you tell me to worry about me. Like, that's not being professional. And if you're being paid to do something, you're technically considered what? A professional. I'm paid.
Yeah,
I'm paid to go to a construction site and make sure people are doing their job. I'm a professional construction supervisor. I'm paid. I'm paid to do it. These guys that are in the NL,
paid to tell people what to do.
Yeah, paid to tell people what to do.
It's like made for you, buddy.
Oh, it's a tough life, man. But as my good friend Andy Glenn says, somebody has to do it, man.
That's right. No, man, no, that's, I completely agree with you. I think that, everyone's just got to get a little bit more thick skin and just be ready for what's about to come, because I see this as we're going to get a tidal wave of fans in here, because hockey's getting soft. Like, I watch hockey. I still watch hockey. Hockey is so soft now that if you are an old school hockey fan, you see a lacrosse game and you fall in love every time. It's just getting the exposure out there.
I've said for, I don't know, I'm 42 now. I probably said for the last 25 years, like, I'm in the wrong generation. Like, I was meant to be in the 70s and the 80s, right? Back to where words didn't hurt. Like, it's like people weren't so soft and so, it's like I'm not a parent. I'm never gonna pretend to tell somebody how to parent, right? I'm a 42-year-old child 90% of the time myself, right? I get it, but like, just raise our younger generation just to have a little bit more, give a fuck, and a little bit more backbone and a little bit more jam. Like, I think everybody would be a lot better off, and we wouldn't be in this bubble wrap fucking helicopter parent generation. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. You can't have an opinion anymore, or else somebody's offended and somebody's coming at you on the internet. And somebody's saying that you're an asshole. And like, why am I an asshole? Because I gave you my opinion? You don't have to accept my opinion. There's two words in that sentence that you really need to put in bold, cap locks, underline, exclamation mark. It's called my opinion. Like, it's mine. I can have the opinion, and I got told this, honest to God, I got told this today. You could tell me that the sky's green. Well, I could. You're right. I could tell you the sky's green, because if I believe it and it's my opinion, then the sky is fucking green.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe that. You can use your own common sense and your own knowledge and your own ability in this information generation to go and form your own opinion. And that doesn't mean I have to accept your opinion, but it doesn't mean I got to shoot you down and call you a motherfucker just because I don't like your opinion. It doesn't mean I have to hold you down and not let you succeed because I don't like your opinion. I actually, you know what? Now that I'm saying all of this shit out loud, I kind of like what this captain guy's doing by going at me with his opinion, because fucking, like, who cares? I don't want you to agree with my opinion. Let's have a battle. Let's talk it out. You know, like, Mike can leave the dumb and the disrespectful shit alone, but you can call me out for all the shit I say. That's, like, again, that's fine. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. And I've said this in a message before. That is the beautiful thing about being human beings. We're allowed to disagree on things. We're allowed to have conversations, and we're allowed to challenge each other and everything. It's just people don't want to do it. And that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. I get it. But don't hate me, because I'm not scared to have a confrontational conversation. And if it makes us both better in the long run, then so be it. But for all this, you know, fuck you this, fuck you that, you're this, you're that, like, I don't get into that, man. Call the guy stupid. So what? My opinion. Get over it.
That's kind of how I am too. I'm big on sticks and stones, and like, I'm big on, you know, as long as you like I said, I think it should just stay, like, kind of don't bring anybody's family into it and stuff like that. There's got to be lines. And I think people have kind of, I'm not saying that this is Daily Dive, I'm just saying this in general. I think people have lost the fact that, like, you can be punched in the face. Like, I truly, like, everyone types online, and like, you would never say that to somebody in person. And if you said that to me in person, I punch you in the face, and I'm not even a violent person. So I know guys that will rip your face off for what you said. Like, so, not you, but like, just specifically, right?
No,
So
you're,
it's like,
you're not far off, man. You're not.
yeah,
far
like,
off.
it's
You're
just,
not far off.
it's and I come from an old school father that, you know, used to, you know, run a roofing company and deal with a bunch of guys, like, you know, guys who were in and out of the jails and stuff. So it's like, he, you know, he'd scrap to deal with situations. I come from a little bit of a rougher background, but it's just, I just find with some people online, it's just crazy what they'll say online, and then you see them, and even you say, like, people will trash you online and then just be like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? So
it's great.
But anyway, man, yeah.
You want to?
I appreciate.
We'll go back to quick. We'll go back to the rougher background of an upbringing. You know that website, Hockey DB?
Yeah.
Go on that and type Scotty McMichael, and then you can have a very good understanding of the beliefs that were brought up in my household, right? Like, if my dad was alive right now and I was using words as much as I do to try and get out of situations, it wouldn't be a very good conversation.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that one for free. So, you know, let's all just be thankful that it's just old texting and chirping online, right? Because, like, again, like, the world was a lot different back in the day, right? As you say, not everybody can be punched in the nose. I've been punched in the nose a lot, so it's all right.
And I love the chirping. I love when somebody disagrees with me. I love getting chirped at, like, oh, you're an idiot. I can't believe your take is like this. Like, I don't take that to heart at all. Like, it's like, oh, maybe I am a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I say some crazy outlandish stuff sometimes, you know?
That's the beautiful thing. I know I'm an idiot. Like, but like, that's the other thing, is, like, I'm not, right? Like, I'm not an idiot. I like to have fun. And if this is the people, the way that people want to perceive me, I'll give you what you want. That's fine. I like to be me. And this is a way that I get to be me, and I only get in a little bit of trouble. If I'm like this in my everyday life, like, I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble. And I'm going to find that guy that's going to punch me in the nose, and that's okay, because I can punch in the nose back. That's fine. Yeah. But like, you get to have fun, and you get to voice my opinion, and not everybody has to agree with it. And again, that's fine. It's the beautiful thing about being the human race. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinions. Like, your parent had to have taught you that, like, the old asshole and opinion analogy, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Like,
absolutely.
Cool. My asshole stinks a little bit more than yours. So what? Who cares?
I just, a lot of it just kind of runs off my back. Like, it doesn't bother me, but some guys, I think, take them a little bit more to heart. And that's kind of, I think, a little bit what's going on here, maybe. It's just, I think that sometimes when you hear something also that maybe isn't said directed towards you, and you internalize it as it is, like, that you're almost like exposing yourself a little bit. So that's another thing that I find happens a lot online with certain people. I'm not saying it's them. Anyway, man, I want to pick your brain a little bit before I because we're already here an hour and a half here.
Let's actually talk a little lacrosse. I got like 20 minutes left. I got like 20 minutes left for you here.
Okay.
Chat it up about a little lax shit.
Yeah. So let's so trade deadlines tomorrow. First question I want to ask you, like, Halifax, are they going to buy after yes?
No, I don't think so. I actually, like, I got a couple pretty firm reports that they're in big time sell mode.
Still.
It's the win's a win, but like it wasn't a dominating performance.
Yeah.
Right. And if you look at the assets that they have in the cupboard, it would only make sense to try and move one, maybe two massive pieces, and then pick up a couple more assets for like like everybody and their sister knows it by now. These next two drafts, specifically the 27 draft, is gross. It's absolutely gross, right? You got your top end guys, you got your top end guys coming out of the 26 draft next year, right? But your 27 draft that's your money. That's your money maker right there. That could be franchise changing players, right? So if I'm them, I'm massive sell mode. The pieces that I'm hearing that they're trying to sell, you're going to get great return and strong value for. But again, like it's the National Lacrosse League, man. Like Christian Del Bianco's don't get traded every year. And I got lucky last year and I made my bones on that one. But it's, we could be in for a massive disappointment tomorrow as well. Nobody could go. Me and Dawson could just be sitting on the computer chopping it up like two idiots for 2 hours and not one goddamn deal get made. Or the league might band against us and say, if anybody leaks any information to Frick and his buddy, then you guys are fucked and everything comes out by the league. Because I know a lot of people were upset with me last year. But again, like it is what it is. We're gonna have our phones going. We're gonna have the lines working. I got a couple scouts and a couple GMs in the bag. So hopefully those can come to fruition. And all I've ever asked is, after you call the league, can you just call me? I don't want to be the guy that puts it out before the league if the league is going to get mad at it, which apparently they do. And I understand that, right? But does the NHL get mad at Friedman for breaking 26 out of 36 trades? No, it's part of getting it out there with the game. So like, let us do our job and try and bring as many eyes to this as we can. Because again, like you see some of Dawson's fucking posts on the Instagram. It's hitting 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 views. Like, let us help you get it out there. And it's a fight, but I do really think that Halifax is going to be a seller. And I think for sure one major piece is going to be gone to return a couple big assets to building blocks in the future.
I do agree with you. I think that it was more about how they won than if they would win.
Yeah.
I think that if they would have went and kept them under 5 and put up 15, I think we'd be able to sit here in a different conversation. I don't know if they're going to sell. I kind of have a feeling that they're going to kind of just run with it. I would like to see them bring somebody in only because I do think this team's better. They've had 4 1-goal game losses. And imagine if we were sitting here and we're on the other side of those, right? So then they would, it'd be a completely different narrative at this point. They'd be one of the top teams in the league. So.
Counterpoint though is we were having that exact same conversation about Albany last year. They were in every single game, so they didn't feel the need to be sellers at the deadline because we're in every game. How is that panned out so far?
No, absolutely. And I mean, that's the thing. It's like, do you run with this roster and give them one last shot, or do you come in and just try to rebuild? And they have some really nice young pieces there, and they've also got a lot of, like, I know what they have 4 first rounders right now.
It's just if you're giving this core one last shot, then that means that you believe this core can win the championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're there, right? Your boots on the ground.
Yeah.
You're there. Do you honestly think that this core can win the championship?
I think if everything fires, I think that Tyson Bell is a top 3, if not the best pure defenseman in the league when he's on, like the way he controls the floor and everything. He also is good at transitioning as well, getting the ball out. The other thing is Warren Hill has been playing at a different, a way different level than he ever has this year. Like all these goalies have over 80 save percentages this year, which is wild considering you thought that they would be the opposite way with the way the rule changed. And then the offense is I feel like they should be scoring more than they are. But is it just age catching up with them in all that lacrosse that's been played over? Like they've gone, a lot of those guys have all gone to 3-man cups.
Yes. And the fatigue of that has to come into play. You're 100% correct. But just kind of going back to the Warren thing here. And again, like am I friends with Warren? No. Do I know Warren through the lacrosse world? 100%. Every single conversation I've ever had with the guy, he's been nothing but nice, nothing but cordial. I think the world of him as a human being. But do you think he's a top 5 goalie in this league?
I mean, there's been nights he has been, though.
There's been nights that he has been. Yeah. You're 1,000,000% correct. But when you're ranking the hierarchy of goaltenders in this league, does he strike? And this is me honestly asking you a question. When you rank the hierarchy of goaltenders in this league, does he honestly strike you as a top 5 goaltender in the league?
No,
Okay, hold on. But before,
right away, it's honestly he's probably sitting 6 or 7. Honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But now, in saying that, to win a championship, do you think you can have the 6th best goalie in a league of 12 teams?
You see a guy go on a run in the playoffs, so whether you're talking lacrosse or hockey, and sometimes they get hot, and I just think it's kind of like one of those things that, like, are you just running out the season and then is Cody Jamieson riding into the sunset? Because I can't see him going off playing somewhere else.
Going back onto your comment there, could you, again, this is kind of condescending me, but I don't mean it to be.
Yeah.
Could you please tell me the last time that a goaltender's got hot in the playoffs in the National Lacrosse League and carried his team to a championship?
I would have to look into it more than I know. I don't know
Because like you're
historically.
you're 100% right. In hockey, it can happen. Yes, a goaltender can steal you a 7-game series. We don't have 7 games.
Matt Vince stole that game last year against San Diego.
Matt Vince stole a game.
Yeah.
But that's the greatest goaltender of all time.
Of course.
These are very, very different classes of goaltenders that we're comparing right now. Matt Vince can do whatever Matt Vince wants.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because he's Matt Vince. He's going on quite possibly a run for his 7th National Lacrosse League title, right? So, but Matt Vince has never just got hot at the playoffs. Matt Vince has got hot at the midway point of the year and carried it through the playoffs. Now, my second point is, because this isn't a 7-game series, one goaltender can get hot and steal you a game, yes. But that mental state of the team who got the game stolen from, that doesn't carry on to game 2 and game 3 and game 4, which is where in hockey you see goaltenders stealing series, right? You can't beat him in game 1. He absolutely fucking stands on his head in game 2. Game 3 and 4, you're probably not fucking scoring because you're in a mental pretzel because that goaltender absolutely owns you, right? So where goaltenders can steal series, it's a lot harder for one person to steal a do or die game in a one-off, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I was Kurt, like if I was sitting there and I'm Kurt Stiers, am I going to bring somebody in? I'm disappointed to see Theed leave, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess, I don't fully still why they would do that trade. I guess they'll try to load up, but that would have been the
last guy on that roster I would have traded. He's a unicorn. He's an absolute unicorn. He's one of one.
I thought they were making room to bring somebody in maybe, and then they went on a skid. So
me too.
I don't know, man. So I think that kind of disappointed the boys in Halifax too there a little bit.
And I think the other thing that's going to factor into tomorrow's decision for Halifax is how hurt is Randy.
Yes.
Is Randy, and again, like I'm hearing it's a LBI, lower body injury, right? So again, like with all of the leg sleeves and the tapings that he does, you got to kind of think it's something to do with that right leg, right? This is like internet doctor here, Frick. Like, by no means am I a medical doctor. I'm like the guy from Step Brothers, right? So has Randy told him like I'm 3-4 weeks away? Because if Randy's 3 or 4 weeks away, then you might as well just take the season and let's rebuild right now.
And I mean, their schedule is not friendly. I'm not like they've got, I think they've got Saskatchewan, or no, they don't have Saskatchewan, but I think they play, I think Buffalo's in there, Georgia's in there for sure, Colorado's in there. They don't have an overly easy schedule. They got Toronto coming up, which Toronto is another team. Good. I'm saying they're my dark horse. Yeah. Like if they're firing on all cylinders, I think they're the best team in the league. But I saw that. Depends on what version.
That's an absolutely outlandish take, by the way. That I saw that. Yeah, was that today or yesterday?
No, I've said that a few times, to be honest with you.
I was like, I guess they got pen stores in where you're from too, right?
Yeah.
Because, the best team in the league. That is just an absolutely outlandish take.
So you're telling me
Mark Matthews is playing like 2012 Mark Matthews though.
So you're saying if Mark Matthews isn't firing, right? They got big names on there, man. You got Mark Matthews, Chris Bush, he does well. Dawick, if he jumps in. You got Owen Hiltz, you got CJ Kirst, you got their back end with the Latrell Harris back there, you got Sam English if he's fully healthy, and then Nick Rose will put up 80, 81 save percentages. And like, I think that's another thing. Do you think Troy's the guy or Nick Rose is the guy? Because I hear a lot of people wanting Troy, but Nick Rose, I think he's undefeated with them right now.
That's a loaded question for me due to personal reasons.
Yeah, okay.
But no, like, if Rosie plays the way that Rosie played Friday night, then yeah, he's the guy. I would like, when Teddy put out the tweet that Rosie was starting, I texted Dawson right away and I go, oh, this is a bad matchup. Like this isn't smart. Like what do we do? Like Troy's played unbelievable. And just to cut his nuts from him like that, the problem that I find with that is you just cut his nuts off.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like you just neutered.
Are we here?
You neutered that kid. He was playing at a top 5 NLL goaltender level, and you neutered him. So
I watched him last week, man. I don't think so. He was rough the first half of that game. Again, I watched him in person.
But what was 4-1 was his record?
I'd have to look it up right off the top of my head. But I'm talking about what I've seen.
I know,
like,
but
it's not that he's having a bad.
You've seen that against the reigning, defending 3-time champions.
Yes. On backs against the wall. Too.
And a team who, over the course of the last however many years, is Toronto's daddy.
Yeah, and I mean they just came off of winning against Saskatchewan too, so they're like high as
right.
As everything.
We call it where I come from BDS, man. You got that big dick swag right now. Like you're rolling into Toronto and it's just floating in between your legs, right? Like you're rolling with that BDS. So I don't think you can put that loss on him. Did he look good? No, you're 100%. You're 100% right. He didn't look good.
He looked better as the game went on. Like the second half was way better. It's just that he had a little bit of a rough start. I'm not trying to hate on Troy.
No. Conversation. We're good. Conversation. Do you know who else? Do you know who else looked? You know who else looked really bad last week too?
Who's that?
Dylan Ward. You know who else looked, and I got the text message receipts. So I'm not saying anything that I haven't said to this person. Do you know who else looked really, really bad on Friday night?
Who's that?
Christian Del Bianco.
Yes.
Okay, so those are
Everyone
the
has
two
bad
best.
nights.
Those are the two best goalies. Like two of the best 4 goalies in the league, right? Like
yeah.
That,
But when has Nick Rose looked bad this year? He hasn't.
What do you mean?
He really hasn't looked bad. Look at his numbers. This year,
why are they 1-4 when to start the year then, or 1-3? Or
he wasn't in, I don't think, was he?
He didn't get hurt until the Rochester game when Graydon Hogg ran into him.
I want to look this up because now it's going to bug me.
In a game, let me preface by saying they were winning or losing the game until Nick Rose got hurt and Troy Holochuk came in and stole the show. Troy Holochuk's been playing out of his skull. You can't
he's definitely had good games. I just noticed last week specifically he wasn't.
Yeah, it's because boots on the ground, baby, right?
Yeah, of course.
You've seen it. You see everything. Like when you're live at the game, you see everything.
Yeah. Nick Rose is 3-2. Troy's 4-2. You got 72 goals against for Troy, 50 for Nick Rose. Obviously, more games for Troy. One more game. Troy's had 242 saves to Nick Rose's 203, and the save percentage is at 80% for Nick Rose, 77 for Troy. Very similar numbers. Troy's the younger guy. I don't know. I think I would go with Nick Rose myself, but I can see the argument.
My point is that, and what I was trying to make was, you neutered him by just taking the job away from him. Like, dude, we all know it was going to be Nick's job eventually, yes. What happens, or what would have happened if Nick came in and shit the bed? Or if he comes out next game and shits the bed? You're putting your goaltender back in the net, and you've literally just said to him, by the way, I have zero confidence in you. I'm not starting you in a game to where we have to win against one of the best teams in the league. I have no confidence in you. So how's he going to come back? Again, you just prefaced, he's a young kid. How's he going to come back? So now that he's sitting there with Nick Rose in front of him and Steven Orlerman behind him, he lets in 5 bad goals. He's done. He's out of a job. Yeah. And that also that's also in the back of your head. You're a competitor. That's in the back of your head. And I got it on good information that they plan on rolling with the 3 goaltender duo. They're not moving one of them.
Yeah. I do think that it's you have to be a different person to be a lacrosse goaltender. You also have to have a lot of self-confidence because you're exactly what you're saying. You have 2, 3 bad games and you're out of a job, right? Like if it even gets that far.
And it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Even if it's, and that's why I said this about goaltender parents too. They're all psychopaths, right? Within good reason. And I say this, I say this being my best friend growing up was a goaltender. His mother was basically like my mother. I rented a room in their house from the time I was 14 years old until I was 22. Like I love this lady to death. She's an absolute psychopath, right? Like you have to be when your team wins and shit kicks somebody. Well, you didn't do anything. You didn't have any shots. Yeah. You didn't do anything. Right. But when they lose a 1-goal game, it's all your fault. It's not our fault for not scoring enough. It's your fault. You didn't save that last one. That's all your fault. Right. So like they have to have thick skin, but also they have to know that their team is confident in them. And if I'm that athlete right now and I haven't lost my job, right? Like, but I guess now again,
did he lose his job or was he placeholding it?
Valid. Very, very, very valid. Right. But when you're playing that well, I don't.
He came off a bad game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that somebody would lose their job due to injury. Let me say that first. I should have said that first. I don't like the fact that somebody might lose their job to an injury. I also don't like the fact that he didn't get to at least lose his job. But you're right. Was it his job or did he know going into that? As soon as Rosie's ready, he's back. Right. So I could be completely talking out of school. This is just how I would feel about it, I think.
I mean, yeah, and you come from a player's point of view. I come from a dummy fan point of view, right? So I'm like, I always look at it like, I'm just spewing off. But when I look at it from a numbers point of view and even like the games and stuff, I think I would go with Nick Rose if I was the coach. Obviously, these coaches are a lot more, if they went with Troy, I get it. But I find I guess I have a little bit of a soft spot for Nick Rose too because there's so much hate on him. And like I'm a Leaf fan, right? Like you are, and like the Leafs media, and like I find it's the same with Toronto Rock. Is like this guy has an 80 save percentage, and you got people bitching about him. It's like, what about the guys who didn't score up front? You know what I mean? What about the guys on defense who left him out to hang out to dry? And you're like, and if he lets in, on his weak side, why don't you have a defender there more often? Why aren't you focused on that and giving him pushing the guys to the other side? So that's what I look at it like.
Don't tie me into the Leaf fan thing. I'm a Leaf watcher. I watch the Maple Leafs because it's on TSN and it's on Sportsnet. But no, I am not a Leaf fan. My dad was a Flyer and my uncle was a Canuck. So far from a Leaf fan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I get it, man. I love them and hate them. I completely understand. I would say it's my I have a healthy relationship, so it's my toxic relationship, man. I keep going back.
If they were really good right now, I'd be a Leaf fan for sure. 100%.
Yeah, fair enough.
100%.
Yeah. So, do you think Nate Whittam is ready to be a starter?
After seeing him for 3 quarters, no. Do I think he has every ability and or capability to be a starter? because I seen him a little bit in juniors. And from what I seen last weekend, I would like him to be on a team to where he would get a shot. Yes. Is he probably going to get a shot in the next 3 or 4 years to be a number one starter in Colorado? Not a chance. You got Dylan Ward. You're okay. Right. But it's like what I gave him our Beast Athletics Beast of the Week last week. Like I think he had every ability in the bag to be a number one goaltender. He was composed. His angles were nice. He didn't let the moment get too much of him. He threw the ball like a fucking quarterback. Like, it was unbelievable the way he was outletting the ball, right? But I don't think we've seen enough of him for him to be considered a legitimate option to be a number one goaltender. But again, as I say, I feel like he has every ability and capability to be a number one goaltender.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is there. I think he's super young. So I think, honestly, as much as I'm sure he's eats him alive, because I think every athlete would, but to have to sit there when you think you're ready to be out there. But to get to mentor behind a guy like Dylan Ward is just, it's nobody gets to do that, right? He's probably one of two or three guys that have gotten to do that. So I think that's something that's going to be valuable.
If you were a goalie parent, you would pay Dylan Ward good money to do what he's doing for free right now with Nate Whittam, right? Like you are learning. Like it's like Connor O'Toole getting to sit there behind Christian. It's like Devlin Shanahan getting to sit behind Brett Dobson. Like these are invaluable experiences that you get. That again, people would pay good money to sit there and pick Christian Del Bianco or Dylan Ward's brain for an hour about lacrosse, and you get to sit beside the guy in the room. You're more than likely his roommate on the road. You get to sit beside him at lunch, because goalies are fucked, and who wants to hang out with the goalie? Only a goalie wants to hang out with the goalies. Like, they're fucked. But like these are invaluable experiences that he's getting to learn on the fly. And again, like, we use a guy like Christian. Like, Christian got to sit behind Frank and Mike Poulin. Right? Like, there's a reason. Like, these good goalies are good for a reason. Like, none of them, not none of them. Very few of them show up to the league and are number one goaltenders right away. Like, Dobson's the only one that comes to mind. Like, I think Dylan Ward sat behind G Nash, one of the greatest goaltenders to ever play the game. Right? Like, these just invaluable experiences that these young kids are getting, and it's count your lucky stars, boys.
Yeah, I called a while ago. I called Brett Dobson the Patrick Waugh of our league, and I think I truly stand by that. He's just the way he is. It's just, he's so good, and he's got that grittiness to him. I love it.
Guy owes me so much money right now. Just stealing bets from me.
Like, I told him, I was like, I gotta stop betting against you, buddy. Like, you're killing me.
And every time I post that, like, you stole money from me again, he texts me, like, just laughing.
He loves
like,
it.
Fuck you, idiot. Like, I love him. Though.
You bet against him, man. He's like, fuck you.
I know.
Do you think Vegas goes against a goalie? Or are they going to run with what they have? Like, I know they're down. They're basically, at this point, you got to look at them like they're probably out of the playoffs. They could go on a run and make it, but Chase Fraser being out, like, I don't know if he's coming back or if he's done for the season or whatnot.
Well, they haven't announced that he's done for the season, so I don't think he is done for the season. And again, I said it on our Loose Mesh podcast last week that he's very, very prevalent in the social media world right now. So if he was done for the season, Willie's as old school comes. Like, you want to talk about an old school upbringing. Like, you ever get a chance to sit down and have a conversation with him, I highly recommend it. He wouldn't be putting him out there in the world if he wasn't coming back. So he's going to be, I don't know nothing. This is me assuming he's going to be coming back. Okay. I think that he has to go and get a goaltender. Yeah. He has to, right? Like, I owe so much of my life to Sean, so I would never shit talk about him. But I really think that, like, his job depends on success in the playoffs, and for him to have success in the playoffs, he needs to go and get a goaltender. And if I'm him, I'm overpaying. I'm giving up that draft pick that I got in 27. I'm giving up any draft pick that I have in 26. I'm giving up a young defensive stalwart, like maybe a Josh Jackson, maybe an offensive threat like a Jackson Webster. Like, I'm giving up something that I don't want to give up because I have to get a quality top tier goaltender for my team to be successful. And making the playoffs, I don't think is good enough, right? And now in saying that, I think they make the playoffs with Landon Kells. Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think they go on the run that he needs and that they need in that market with Landon Kells. I think they get to the dance. I just think that the DJ doesn't play a song. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you think is Nick, like, is the mood the one that you think they're going to be targeting?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
okay. I hope so.
My answer, it's changed over the last 3 months. Okay. If Brett Dobson wasn't doing what Brett Dobson was doing right now, I would have put a paycheck on the fact that Brett Dobson got moved to Vegas at the deadline. Paycheck. Okay. Georgia can't do that. You could offer him you could offer him Mitch Jones, Jonathan Donville. You can't do that now. It's record breaking season.
He's unmovable.
You can't, unmovable.
Yeah. Okay, man. Just one last question, man. So, what do you think is going to be the biggest move tomorrow? Or do you think we're going to have a busy day, or do you think it's just going to be, do you think quiet?
Well, let's talk it into fruition here. I think it's going to be a busy day, right? I think I think they're going to keep us active on the YouTube. 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, live on YouTube, Loose Smash Trade Deadline Show. Obviously, when this gets released, it's already going to be past, but it's going to be a good time, and I'm going to throw it out there anyways. My biggest move, you're not going to like.
Okay.
You're not gonna like it. Graham Hossack
Yep.
to the Saskatchewan Rush.
I could see that happening possibly if Halifax does choose to be sellers. Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. Anything's possible.
That's my move. And then just to give you another one to play with, Tyler Pace, two lost.
Oh, what? More offensive power there.
Well, it's going to be a 3-way package. So you're going to get you're going to get 2 pieces going to Vegas. You're going to get a couple of pieces going to Calgary, and you're going to get a lot of pieces going to Philly. That's the way it's the only way I can see that trade going down. And then Willie either flips Pacer to Vancouver and recoups a little bit of the draft capital that he's going to lose, or he waits to the offseason and then do it before he signs.
Okay.
Me hoping, man. Just me hoping. I want some big names to go. I want some big names.
Chaos, man.
I want some big names to go that I have in my Rolodex. That's what I want, right? I want to be able to call Graham and say, Hoss, jump online with us and let's chat it up a little bit. Hey, Pacer, jump online. I'm hoping. A guy can only hope.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best. I do have one more bonus question for you. Do you still stand by Delbs being the best goalie in the world right now, like in the league?
8 days a week.
Yep. Okay.
8 days a week. There's certain things, not to say that Brett Dobson doesn't do it, but there's just a certain, I don't know, like a guy's got it. He's got it. Whatever it is, he has it. And again, like I know every goalie would be the same, but I texted Christian this morning. I gave him a day, but I texted him like, oh fuck, man, that was a rough start. He goes, oh yeah, life will go on. What do you mean? I'd be sitting there beating the shit out of myself if I fucking, you're the best. Like that's not a 6-goal quarter, man. Like that's not you, right?
Yeah.
That's just that's not. And that's why I say he's the best, because I know Dauber, and I know Dauber probably would have stewed a little bit over that. And that's what makes him such a great competitor. But Christian's, he's won it. He's done it. It's only a matter of time. It's just, you would feel so much comfortability with a guy like Christian behind you that one idiot's opinion.
So I think that Dobbs is actually the best goalie in the world, but I want to hear your opinion, because even if you look at field accolades too, but even if we're just talking box, what would he have to do to pass Christian then, in your opinion?
Pay me back. That's it, man. No, I don't. Again,
I guess, right?
There's nothing that he can do. He is also the best goaltender in like this. Yeah. You're not wrong if you have to choose between Christian or Brett Dobson. No matter what you pick, you're not wrong. There's nothing that Dauber can do that would make me think that he's better than Christian, because I think Dauber's just as good. This is just my personal preference. The way that I've known both goaltenders, the way that I just feel that like Dauber's more, like, don't worry, I got it. Don't worry, I got it. To where like Christian's, he's all over the place. He's throwing again, like they're both the exact same. It's just my personal preference, right? Like that's all it would come down to.
Wards can be thrown in there too on certain nights, like longevity wise and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I always say like this is like, you're arguing which top end player is the best. This is cutting, very thin margin.
Right. And I think
all these guys are doing amazing things.
I think the tiebreaker for me is, again, like I'm a box lacrosse guy, right? So it comes down to ships. And Delbs has won, Mintos, NLL Cups, MVPs, goaltenders of the year. Like it's just the resume's a little bit better for me, to where again, like you take the field aspect of it, and like I wouldn't want Christian being a net on my men's league team. Like that's Brett Dobson's world. Like that he's the GOAT. You put him in Chris Sanderson levels. Like he is what he is, and he's the best to ever step in the crease wearing a Canadian jersey. But now, again, like for me, it's just the accolades and the awards in the pro game that just leans more towards Christian.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you getting on here. We've been on here for a couple hours now, so I'm going to get off. But I appreciate all the time you give me and all that stuff, man. I could sit here and like legit talk to you all day. So
I know. Keep on.
We could be here all night.
Keep on fun. We can. I gotta jump on a Loose Smash podcast now, right? So we got our Loose Smash coming out sometime around Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm sure I'll stick my foot in my mouth a little bit more there. So if you guys want to hear some more idiocy, jump on over to Loose Smash. But I appreciate you giving me a platform and you allowing me to express my opinion on some of the things that are going on and affecting me and not affecting me and all that. But you're good people, man. Keep on fighting the good fight, and let's just keep having fun, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate it, and I'll keep bringing the content. You do the same. You're doing great things, man. So we'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right, so big thanks to Mr. Elliott Frickman, Ryan McMichael from Loose Mesh for jumping on the podcast. He covered a lot. I was on there for 2 hours. Once I edited it down and I speed it up a little bit, it doesn't come out that much, but it was like a 2-hour conversation. And when somebody gives me that much time, I always appreciate it so much, because you got to remember, guys, I'm just some dummy fan that just started doing content because no one else was, right? That's why I'm here, right? I wanted to always do content anyway, and I've fallen in love with the sport. So it all made sense. All the Venn diagram made sense to do content on this. But at the end of the day, like when I'm a nobody, now I'm not saying I'm an anybody now, don't get me wrong, but I have more followers, more people kind of know my face, they're seeing it. I find it's easier for me to get guests at this point than it ever has been, right? I've got a lineup right now of guests that I have to do interviews with. That's a good problem to have, right? Now, with all that being said, Ryan came on my show when it was him and Dawson, and maybe I can't remember if I did Brad before him or not. The guy from shout out the Mighty Oaks, to my friend in California there, Brad. So I always respect Ryan because he gave me that opportunity when nobody else did. So that's what I mean. For me, I've as much as I love Daily Dive, and I've said it a lot of times, my loyalty runs with Loose Mesh. And you'll never catch me saying anything bad about them, like anybody, but especially them. Like to me, I would not even I wouldn't say anything bad about them, but I would also probably I would defend them when they weren't there. That's what I like. But I would do that for anybody, to be honest with you. Like, I don't want to go sitting here name dropping, but like Jake Elliott, Lucas Arger, Michael, like I would do it for Michael Carvelis. Like I do it. Like I don't sit here and let people talk bad about people. I am going to let them say their opinion. That's different, right? So I do try to and I try to look at it from a neutral point of view. So I hope I also don't want it to make it out to seem like I'm just taking Loose Message side, take Loose Message side, or I'm not even really taking a side. I just want the story out there. I want to hear both sides. And like I said, I still haven't even really listened to the other side of the argument here yet, right? So my mind could change still, and if it does, I'll tell you, I'll come on here and I'll give you my opinion on it. But with that being said, I do think that everybody makes mistakes, in the same sense that if, I'm sure not everything was, there was some stuff that obviously, like Ryan said, that maybe he could have said nicer, but I think it's just it's like a heated thing, right? It's like one tit for tat, and it's escalate. So I'm not saying either one of are right or wrong or whatever, but I just think that we need to just kind of get away from this stuff. Also talked the Lacrosse Canada situation with them, and Lacrosse Canada, he opened my eyes to a lot of good points. I've got some stuff written down I got to do more research on. The guy is a smart guy, and I think that people think he's dumb or something, and he's not. Like, he's super smart. He's a little bit rough around the edges, but I think, like, to me, I like people like that are direct, rough around the edges, real. I want to see real. That's what I try to be. I try to be authentic on here. Ryan McMichael, I'm going to tell you right now too here. Ryan McMichael is the exact same person you see on that camera that you see off that camera, right? Like, in the sense that he's opinionated. He's gonna tell you how he thinks. He's nice. So guess what? He's gonna go and open that door for that old lady. He's gonna hold that door, right? Right. He might say a bad name to somebody, maybe one time here and there. But at the end of the day, that if you were in trouble, if your kid was in trouble, if anybody was in trouble and Ryan's around, he is going to be the one to step up to the plate and help however he can. So I think you have to give credit where credit's due. And that's why, to me, I will always have these guys back. And I hope this Daily Dive situation with them can just be over and done with, and they can come up with some kind of, mutual agreement to just chill out on each other. Because again, I don't want to sit here and say like I'm trashing Daily Dive, because I haven't heard the full story yet. And I like Daily Dive. Like I said, I like Michael. He's had me on a show a couple times. I like Captain. Came and sat with me at the game. I'd have dinner with all those guys. Like, there's no animosity here on my end at all. I'm not trying to take sides. I just got thrown in the middle here. So I was like, well, might as well roll with the punches, boys. First off, let's just run through the scores real quick of the games from last week. So we had 5 games on this weekend. We had Toronto Rock beating Vancouver 13-10, upset of the weekend. Even though it's Friday night, upset of the weekend, absolutely massive for Toronto. They needed that win. And it also goes into my dark horse theory, where Toronto is gonna, I said this and people laugh at me, but Toronto is one of the best teams in the league when they're firing on all cylinders. Also, Nick Rose should be that goalie. Like Ryan talked about it in our interview, but they won. So we'll go into that more. Ottawa beat Colorado 10-5. Massive win, another upset. I did not do good this weekend, guys. Just a heads up. Halifax beating Las Vegas, closer than I think everybody wanted to see a bigger win here. But at the end of the day, they got the win, and that's all that matters. Not really, though, to be honest with you. They need a bigger win here. Then you got Oshawa beating Philly 13-12. And then finally got Calgary beating Rochester 14-7. So absolutely massive, guys. Massive weekend. A lot of upsets. I didn't see this coming. Like, I seen Oshawa. I knew Oshawa was going to get this win. It was time for them to get a win, and they almost fucking blew it. So anyway, and then you got Calgary upsetting Rochester. Was amazing. That one goal was just, my God, that was nasty. That behind the back, man, by Tyler Pace. Just, my God, that's just disgusting, dude. Anyway. Okay, so let's get right into the games of the week. So we're going to go right into, we'll start with So we have Toronto Rock, Vancouver. So in Vancouver, they had 9,747 people, so almost 10,000. It's awesome. I love to see that number be 10,000, but at the end of the day, it's amazing to see these teams getting close to that. That's where I think we need to try to really work on. 7,000 is the mark, but that's where we need to work on. You had CJ Kurz getting 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points. You can't take away, like, he's getting the Rookie of the Year. There's nothing to talk about. What, 3/4 of the way through the season essentially now, and he's basically locked this up at this point. Nolan Byrne is going to give him a little bit of a run for money, but you got to give it to CJ Kurz at this point. He also got 8 loose balls and 9 shots on goal. Chandler Rogers, 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points. Huge 6 loose balls as well. Mark Matthews, a goal and 2 assists. You have Sam English with a goal and 2 assists. Hills with 3 assists. Dan Craig with 2 assists. Carl Herrick 2 assists. Chris Boucher with a goal, as well as Keller, which I think was his first goal ever, if I'm not mistaken. You got in the league, You got Rolette with a goal as well. And you have Dawick, Rose, both getting assists. You also had Rolette going 14 for 28 in the draw, so huge for that. And then on the other side of things, you had Keegan Ball having another massive night, 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points. He's sleepy, might steal the MVP. Like, I know people aren't really talking about that quite yet, and it's I don't know if he'll get the MVP because of the players around him, but man, he should be talked about more. He's honestly got to be into consideration for the best player in the world, because it's night in, night out. This guy gets multiple 6-point games all the time. It's crazy. You got Clowrich getting 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 goals for him. Huge for him, massive. Jesse King, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. You got Shark going 50% in the dot, 14 for 28 as well. So huge for that, guys. I do want to mention too with Keegan Ball. I know there's it's not just him that does this, but Keegan Ball got 7 loose balls and 13 shots on net. I will say though, for 13 shots on net to get 1 goal, you think that he would have a few more than that. But hey, he got 8 points. So what are we talking about here? And he's obviously driving offense, right? On the goaltenders here, we got Nick Rose with 47 shots, 37 saves, with 10 goals against and a 78.7. He got the win. Christian Del Bianco, not a great night. Everyone said that. He had an off night. It happens. He's still arguably the best goalie in the world. There's not to talk about. 50 shots on goal, 37 saves, to 1330 goal against average and a 74 save percentage. So not, probably his worst game of the season. There was one more earlier in the season. Maybe he had a little bit of a rough time, but this might be his worst game of the season. It happens. No big deal. They're still in the playoff hunt, and Colorado also lost. It's bound to happen. This is a long season, and they played a lot of lacrosse, and we're coming to playoff time, and you guys, sometimes this might be a good thing to snap a team like this. So Nick Rose is the goalie, and I talked about this with Frick there. He's like, well, how fair is it for Troy to take the job, right? And or to not get the starter when he's been playing good, and he has been playing good. I'm not doubting that. I didn't like him last week when I seen him live, and I don't know what people see. This is where it gets hard. I don't really see it with Troy in the sense that he's like that next level elite goalie. Now maybe I'm wrong, right? And I will say I see him make massive saves, just a little bit more consistency. But Nick Rose, to me, he puts up a better overall save percentage most nights, and to go in and to get this win was absolutely massive. So I got to go with Nick Rose. It's kind of, I don't know. Howachuk, to me, it's not that he's a bad goalie. Really, his numbers are pretty solid. But to me, if you're choosing the two, I'm taking Nick Rose all day. That's just my own opinion. And CJ Kurz, it's like when he scores. So he scores opener. He scored to end the first quarter as well. To end the second quarter, he scored again. Got 2 goals in the second half, or the second quarter as well as the first. It's crazy. He's really being such a leader out there already, and really by leading, he's really just going out there playing really good. And when you're playing around a guy like that, it shows you really, it makes you want to be better because he's so good. So it elevates everybody around him. Now with this, had Toronto getting 10 in the first half, 6 to Vancouver's 3. So again, it's not just on Christian. He also had the back end. So second half was all Vancouver pretty much. Third quarter was 3 goals for Toronto, 4 goals for Vancouver, and then 3 goals in the fourth quarter all went on to Vancouver. Too little, too late point. Toronto kind of just really locked down. They did what they had to win. They got the win. And that's sometimes what they do. You see in this league quite a bit is, you see where they'll lock a team down. They'll lock a team down. Like a team will go way up and then just kind of coast and try to play really good defense, try to get the win. Because that's all that really matters, is essentially the win, right? So next game of the week, this was on Saturday. We had Ottawa versus Colorado. The attendance number was 9,989, so almost 10,000 people, 11 people from 10,000, so huge and just absolutely massive. So Ottawa beating Colorado 10-5, upsetting everybody. Nobody really thought this. Now, Ottawa is kind of like, Ottawa I'm going to start calling the Kingslayers because they keep beating the teams that nobody else can beat. And that's the thing. It is funny, right? So Ottawa is kind of like the Kingslayers of this league right now. They are not, quote unquote, the best team, but they have the best player. And when Higgins is on, he's one of the best goalies. If not, he's up there. I wouldn't put him as the best, but he's in that top 3, I would say. When he's on elite, top 4, when he's on the elite level and he can win games, right? So when he's playing like that, they win. They got the best defenseman in the league. They probably got the best defenseman in the game right now in Cal Jones. They've got some absolute pieces here, and they're showing that these guys are a great little dark horse too, to be honest with you. Ottawa and Jeff T, you got to think when you have a player that's so great, he makes everybody around them great, and then he can go put it in that extra gear when is needed to make them win. And that is something that you could see in the playoffs. And I will dedicate this right now. And we're pretty much looking like Ottawa's in the playoffs. I'm going to go to the first game in Ottawa for the playoffs. I will dedicate that right now. Quote it. If Ottawa makes the playoffs, I'm going to go to Ottawa for the playoff game. Okay. So let's get that out of there right now. So we've got Jeff Teat getting 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. You've got Robert Hellier with 5 assists. You got Sam Firth with 3 assists. You got Larson Sundown with 2 goals. Connor Kiernan with a goal and assist. Riley O'Connor with a goal and assist, which is having an amazing year. Riley O'Connor, nobody really expected him to be this consistently good. He's always on the score sheet. You got Jake Stevens with a goal, as well as Matt Mariner with a goal as well. Brent Noseworthy also got an assist. You had Kurtz getting absolutely destroyed in the faceoff dot with a 4 for 19. On the other side of things, you had, so obviously, like, you know, realistically, Jeff T really carrying the load for most of that, but they are getting a lot of depth scoring as well. Then you had Callum Jones with 10 loose balls, a caused turnover, 4 penalty minutes, and it goes with the territory with Cal, like it really does. So then on the other side, you have Andrew Hugh getting 4 goals, 1 assist for 5 points. You got Jack Hanna getting 3 assists for 3 points. You got Brandon Sayers getting 3 assists. You got Dylan McIntosh with getting a goal. Gillies got an assist, as well as Robert Hope. Also, 13 loose balls for freaking Jordan Gillies. Holy cow, bro. Got a caused turnover by him too. Robert Hope also got 10 loose balls. Connor Cook got an assist as well. Nothing for Will Malcolm that game, which is really, really weird. You had on the goaltending, here we go. We had Zach Higgins, man. When you have this Zach Higgins, Ottawa wins. That's it. And you could look up anytime Zach Higgins has games like this, they win. And I mean, it's hard not to win when you have a goalie put up a game like this, but you had 38 shots, 33 saves for 8 save percentage by Zach Higgins. Probably, if not his best performance of the season. There's one more in there this season that he had really good numbers like this, but for the most part, he stole this game for them. Then you had Dylan Ward, especially in the second half. Like the second half of this game, he really held in there and stood on his head and got that done. So you had Dylan Ward also putting up respectable numbers, especially after the weekend before that he didn't have a great game. You have him getting 50 shots, 41 saves, and an 82 save percentage. And it's a wild that we're in the era now where you can get this kind of save percentage and still lose. It's looking more like hockey save percentages than it is lacrosse save percentages now. Because last season and even before, this is historical. You can go look this up. From what I've seen anyway, is it was a lot of like 78 was like a good save percentage. If you were at 78 save percentage, you had a good year. You're a good goalie. If you're in like that 80, like that 79 to 80 to 81, like Christian's at 83 and that was like unheard of. And now we got guys putting up 86. So it's like, it's insane, guys. These goalies are getting better and better and better. So we got Ottawa in the first quarter, getting 1 goal, 2 goals in the second, 3 goals in the third, and 5 goals in the fourth. So absolutely clutching it out, where Colorado got 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 0 in the fourth. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. And another one that really kind of stands out here, which is funny. So Ottawa almost had the 20-minute longest drought without a goal, and Colorado had 26 minutes. So that's way too much. That's almost a whole fucking half, guys. That's almost a whole half of lacrosse. They didn't put a goal, and you can't win like that. It's just not going to happen. So then you had Las Vegas Desert Dogs versus Halifax. Here's a 10,000 game, another 10,000 game, 10,112. So all these games so far this week have been 10,000 plus, or right around 10,000 games. Sorry. Like, it's insane. This is what I want to see for the league. This is what I would love to see every week in every arena. And I think we're going to get there. This sport is nothing but going to grow. I'm telling you right now. It's so much more exciting than hockey. I'm watching hockey. I still watch hockey, guys. I love hockey. But when I watch lacrosse I would watch not 10 out of 10 times over hockey, right? And now the Leafs are playing really shit right now too. That doesn't help. But with that being said, 1,000% lacrosse, box lacrosse specifically, I would watch all day over hockey. It's so much more exciting. And it's like, it reminds me so much of old school hockey, how it used to be, right? These guys, I love these guys. I love this game, man. I always say that. I love this game. So anyway, we have Chris Cloutier with 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. And you have 7 loose balls with this guy, 1 caused turnover. Guy's supposed to be a transition player, just playing like a forward, like just amazing. You got Donville they got to flip. They've kind of been flipping around, obviously. Chris Klutz, right? He's kind of a transition guy, but I don't know. Anyway, so you got him putting up 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. You got Jonathan Donville putting up a goal and 4 assists. You got Killen putting up 2 goals, 2 assists. Mitch Jones putting up 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. You got Adam Poltras putting up 2 goals, 1 assist. Huge game for him. You got Crowley putting up 3 assists. Connor Kurz putting up a goal and an assist. Also only going 2 for 11 in the dot. Not great for that. You got Jackson Webster putting up a goal. Brandon Goodwin, Tyson Gibson, Tony Malcolm, John LaFontaine, all putting up assists. Drew Belgrave went 0 for 10, so that's horrible. And I'm surprised. Where was Hammer not playing this game? Hammer must have been out. I guess Hammer wasn't in this game. Yeah, because Hammer had a great face-off the week before, but this is the thing. Sometimes with travel and like work and stuff, you just can't make it. So this is the thing about this sport, right? It is what it is. So on the other side of things, you got 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points from Clark Peterson. So again, Peterson's just amazing for Pedersen. 16 shots on goal, loose balls, heart and soul of that team. Clark Pedersen offensively there. He's just every game, man, he's in there. You got Jason Knox with a goal and 4 assists for 5 points. Stephen Coe with 3 goals, 1 assist. I like Stephen Coe. He's really putting it up. You have Cody Jamieson putting up a goal and 3 assists. Like I said, 4 points. You can see the reduction in Cody Jamieson this year. And I'm not hating. He's played a lot of lacrosse in the last couple of years, and he's getting up there, right? He's still an amazing player, right? You're putting up, you can give a team 4 points a game, you're doing all right. And it's usually more. But I'm really starting to see from even what I've started watching him as, and like from watching last year in the Man Cup and just all that kind of stuff, and even last year in Halifax, like I find his production's really down. I'm going to go fact check that, but I do think that his production's down quite a bit. Then you got Brandon Bomberry with 3 assists. You got Will McLeod with a goal and assist. Rookie, shout out to him. He's having some pretty big games too. He doesn't get talked about because you got CJ Kirst and Michael Grace and Sam English and like the list goes on. Owen Hiltz and Nolan Byrne and stuff like. But Will McLeod's a good pickup for Halifax. Like he's a good piece. Then you got Mike Robinson with 2 assists. You got Tyson Bell with 2 assists as well. You got Austin Blumberg with a goal. Yeah, Ryan Tefenko with a goal, Thompson with a goal, and O'Connor with a goal. So you had lots of different guys scoring, and you had Withers going 26 for 28, absolutely just schooling him on the other side of things. Just holy cow, man. Landon Kells, 56 shots, 43 saves for a 76.8 save percentage, and you Warren Hill getting 53 shots, 42 saves for a 79.2 save percentage. So again, a passable save percentage, but in today's lacrosse, you got to be better than that, and that's what me and Frick were talking about there. I do like Hill, and Hill's had some really good games this year. Without Hill, they wouldn't even be sitting where they are. But you got Vegas getting 1 in the first, 5 in the second, 1 in the third, and 4 in the fourth. And Halifax getting 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the third, 5 in the fourth, closing it out there. And I will say, this is Vegas' problem is consistency. Usually they come out way late and they start scoring late and run out of time. This time, they kind of did that a little bit, but if you just play the full 60, if you could just be more consistent, where instead of getting 5 goals in one period, you're getting 3 and 3 and 3, and then like 3 and 3/4, and then have a big fourth, that's the recipe for success. Not this, you have a big couple minutes, and then you just like kind of like fucking trail off, right? So I watched this game and Trace Frazier wasn't in it, right? So I mean, like you got to keep that in mind. They're missing their best player, but so is Halifax. They're missing Randy Stotts, and they still put up 13. It's impressive. It's just not as impressive as it needs to. And I think the Randy Stotts injury, in all fairness, also has a big factor into what's going on, because if he's out for the season, like realistically, there's your one, like you need Randy Stotts to really give you that extra. I mean, they have some guys, and it seems like they're starting to flow. So I'm not going to count them out completely, but like it's pretty rough, honestly. So we have Oshawa Firewolves 13-12 against the Philadelphia Wings. Oshawa needed this win. They had 6,835. So that's not bad for Philly. That's not bad for Philly. Like that's almost 7,000, which is where we need to be. That's I always say that. That's out of Brett Frood's mouth. He wants every team to be putting 7,000 in the building. I'm sure he wants every team to put in 12,000 in the building, but you need a starting, and then 7,000. This is where we need to be. So very good against Oshawa. So really not. I don't think it's anybody like super like rivalry or anything. So that's a really impressive as well that they put in that many. So shout out to Philly. I love to see that. Go support your team because you're going to lose them. So I love this, and I hope they can keep Philly in Philly. I haven't really heard too much about that quite yet anymore. It's kind of all got radio silent because we're obviously in the middle of the season, but that's going to get ramped up as the season comes to an end here. So I'm selfish. I want more Canadian teams. So I would love to see a team in Montreal or Quebec City or Moncton. No, I know Moncton. Unfortunately, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I would be there, but that's just me, right? So I would love to see Moncton. I would love to see the East Coast get another team. St. John, Moncton, Fredericton would be the only places in New Brunswick you could put it. I would argue Moncton's probably the best, but at the same time, it is closer to Halifax. But it'd be nice to have a team in New Brunswick. I would love to see that one day, but I know like we're probably like way, 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 way down the list. Like I said, I know St. John, they don't really have anything with Moncton yet. Like there's no unboxed series, which that might be something that I press the league for as I get up there. Like if I can get in there, I'm gonna be like, yo, we need an unboxed team in Moncton. We need an unboxed team. I want an unboxed team in Moncton. Like let's pick something as an unboxed team, and we can run it. Like you can do the Mavericks. I just talked about. I've got the Kodiak president coming on next episode, so he'll be in next episode. So I've got that on my mind too right now. But it'd be cool. So anyway, back to this. Sorry, tangent. Alex Simmons, 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points. Sad that you're not going to say it to see him play in the playoffs. He's gonna be a top 5 player this year and not be in the playoffs. It's a joke. It's a joke, guys. Oh man. So you got Dusty, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. You don't think Halifax could use that production? Okay. Ty Kurtz, 4 goals, 1 assist. Tyson Williams with 3 goals, 2 assists. Ethan Walker with a goal and 2 assists. Clark with a goal and 2 assists. Mike Byrne with a goal with 1 goal. Also went 13 for 29 in the faceoffs. You got Pacheco with an assist, as well as Watkinson. You got Will Johansson with 10 loose balls and 3 caused turnovers. Huge for him. That's huge. Good for him. Caused turnovers are hard. And I'm going to say his name wrong. Sorry. Chawaski is nine loose balls, one caused turnover. I like to shout out these guys because I find that doesn't get talked about enough, is like caused turnovers and loose balls. And like those to me are two of the most important stats. That's what I'm drilling into my kid personally. I'm like, okay, I want you to be the one out there that's grabbing the ball every single time. Like run to that ball. And not in the sense like, I want you to run across the field and get it. I'm just saying, I'm trying to instill into him, like, you hustle for that ball, and that'll be one drill that I really install into the kids here. Yeah. So anyway, you got Brendan O'Neill with 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points. You got Joey Rez with 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. Dalton Young with 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Alex Pace with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Kyle Jackson with 3 assists. Phil Caputo, which just got traded today as well, 2 assists. Ryan Wagner with a goal. Sam Leclerc with an assist. Dylan Hutchinson with an assist. And then you got Bo Columbus with 16 for 29, 55 face-off percentage. And on in the... Okay, hold on, actually. And, like, to be honest, guys, like, so you got Dougie Jameson having, honestly, really not that great of a night. Like, don't get me wrong, the eye test is different. I will say this, but I'm actually surprised to see the stats a little bit. So 50 shots, 38 saves for 76 save percentage. And then you had Nick DeMood. He only played 12 minutes. They were trying not out here. Nick DeMood, actually, sorry, I apologize. Nick DeMood was out there first and got pulled. He got 14 shots, 9 saves for 64.3 save percentage. I think they were trying to save him because I think he was trying to... There was a lot of rumors he was going to get traded. Didn't get traded. He's still in Philly, rotting away there, and I'm disappointed with that because I wish he would have been. Him to Vegas made the most sense to me out of anything else in this league. Why he didn't go to Vegas doesn't make any sense to me. And Deaconot getting 44 shots, 36 saves for an 81.8 save percentage. So Deaconot played well. It's not that. That's the nice thing about having a good backup. You can rely on him. The thing is, I will say though, is this, you can see why Oshawa won is exactly what Oshawa is doing, which is exactly what Oshawa is good at, which is why I fell in love with this team originally. If they could play like this every game, even if they lost like this, I wouldn't be mad. Okay? What I got so upset about with Oshawa was the fact that you just don't have any fucking heart. That's what it is. So with these guys, this is the team that I thought we were going to see all season. Like where you had multiple guys getting multiple games. Even Alex Simmons is above what I thought he was going to be able to produce. But like, that's exactly kind of where I think that's exactly where I think Dyson should be. Ty Kurtz, same thing, like right in that range. You know, Walker even 3 points, Clark 3 points. Like everybody contributed here. The loose balls like that they picked up with Johansson and Shawoski, like huge, that caused turnovers with Will Johansson, just absolutely massive. Like it shows heart. It shows this is what I want to see out of Oshawa. Why'd you take till this point in the league in the year to start doing this? And like Oshawa came out strong. And I will say they almost blew this game. But you had 5 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second, 2 goals in the third, 4 in the fourth. And with Philly, you had 0 in the first, 7 in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fourth. So even game, except for the first. Oshawa obviously completely dominated, came out and dominated. And then the second, same, flipped the script. And Philadelphia kind of dominated, and that was tight. So, like I said, this to me, and Oshawa kept their longest drought under 10 minutes, which is super important. That's crazy. Just this is what pisses me off about this team. This team is like so much like this just pours into my fucking Toronto Maple Leaf narrative so much harder. Honestly, it really does. It's just crazy. Okay, so now and then finally we have Calgary Roughnecks versus Rochester Knighthawks. The upset. This honestly, I said Toronto was. This is right up there. You could argue this is the upset of the weekend. Calgary beating Rochester 14-7. At least the Toronto Vancouver game was somewhat close, and Vancouver gave it a good go in the second half. Like this was just brutal. So first off, 4,985 people attended. Not enough. That we need to get that way up. Rochester's numbers are way down. They got to figure out what to do there. But I know they're invested in Rochester, so we don't have to worry about that at least. Got Tanner Cook getting 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points. Huge. Massive night for him, man. Tyler Pace getting a goal and 5 assists, 6 points. Just huge goal behind the back goal there. Amazing. Then you got Maya with 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points with 11 loose balls. Massive. You got Noah Manning with 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. You've got Hayden Dixon with 3 goals, getting the hat trick. You got Riley Lowen with a goal and assist. You got Gauthier with 3 assists. You got Lady with an assist. Eli Salama with an assist, as well as Leclerc. They all had assists. And you had Anasio going 17 for 24 for 70%. Huge. This kid's like great face-off guy, man. Like Calgary, this game especially showed that they have heart. But not only that, and May got 11 loose balls too. Shout out to him for that. But not even only that, but it's just like the way, like they have a lot of young pieces, right? And I'm surprised they weren't a little bit more active today, but it is what it is. And it's unfortunate they're not getting the first round pick, but they'll move on, and they have a lot of young, good talent there. Noah Manning's another one that you could talk about. For in a normal year, I think he would be like right in that rookie of the year race, but not this year's. You've got on the other side, you got Thomas McConvey with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Ryan Smith got 3 goals. Hartfield's got a goal and 2 assists. Another game that was he was held up. 10 loose balls though, huge. Launchberry got a goal and 2 assists. Kyle Waters got 2 assists. Jeremy Thompson got a goal. He went 7 for 23 in the dot. He hasn't been great this year in the dot. You got Hogg with an assist as well as Zed Williams. Zed Williams a little bit, to me, the hype that I heard about him, a little underwhelming there for me. And you had Taylor Jensen getting a one for one in the faceoff, 100%. On the goalies, Aiden Walsh had an amazing night. It's hard to give him the goalie of the week, and it really isn't. But you got 57 shots, 50 saves for an 87.7 save percentage. And on the other side, you had Hutchcraft. Like Hartley got pulled. Hutchcraft 10 shots, 7 saves for 70%, and Hartley 46 shots, 35 saves, and 76 save percentage. Is Rochester going to make playoffs, guys? I said they were last week, but we're going to go through this in a minute too. I got to go. This podcast is going to be long, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm going to bring you guys what you want. And anybody really listening at this point is like really hardcore into a fan. So yeah. So Calgary got 5 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fourth. And Rochester got 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Not good enough, basically. Almost 20 minutes of a goal drought for them. Again, not good enough, but just honestly insane. Realistically, it's just crazy. It's crazy, man. Like what we've seen this weekend was absolutely nuts. Now, okay, so George didn't even play this weekend, I don't think. Okay, so we're gonna go to. I'm just gonna run through the anything lacrosse stat or awards quick. We'll go through trades after this, but I want to do awards. I'll do power rankings. We'll go through the trades, and then I'll go through the standings and stuff too. I'll do that also. Let's just run through this quick actually. So first off, we'll run through my weekly awards. Then I'll run through the standings. Yeah, okay. So let's do the weekly awards. Okay, so first off, we got to go game of the week. As much as this is like, it's tough. I think it's pretty easy to choose. Like, there were some really good games on this weekend. A lot of upsets. It's hard to pick a game. Game of the week that if I had to like this kind of, when I think of game of the week, I'm like, okay, which game could I wish I could have sat back down and rewatched? I gotta go with, this is tight, but I gotta go with Toronto Rock versus Vancouver opening the weekend. Again, there's an argument to me. Rochester, Calgary, that was an awesome one to watch. Ottawa, Colorado was great too. But just the way the shock factor when nobody thought, including myself, I'm in that boat. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Nobody. There's not too many people that thought Toronto was going to go into Vancouver and beat Vancouver like that. Nobody thought Del Bianco was going to have a game like that. Like, it's just, you just don't see it. And Nick Rose's first game back, love to see it. He hasn't never got a championship. Just fun fact there. And it'd be nice to see him win a championship. So rookie of the week, I go to CJ Kirst. 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points, 9 shots on goal, 8 loose balls. The kid's, like I said, he's out there leading the team. And it's not just about it's not about just him scoring, but it's about when he's scoring. He's scoring at opening the game. He's scoring to end the quarters, like to finish off strong. Like he's such a great, talented kid. These Toronto over the next couple seasons, this kid is going to get scary. And especially if you're a believer in Troy. If you're a believer in Troy, man, that's scary. Like, I'm telling you, because Troy, and like, don't get me wrong, I just look at the numbers, I look at how they play, and I just judge. Okay, Dobson, I looked at the numbers last year, looked at how he was playing, and I was saying he was like, like in the 5th, 6th goalie. He's the number 1 goalie in the league this year. So I can be wrong. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not ever wrong. So I'm not saying maybe it's Troy the guy, but for me, it's Nick Rose right now. Troy, you're gonna have to wait your turn. And I think they think you are the guy, though. So, it is what it is. So, offense player of the week, I'm going to go with Keegan Ball. A goal and 7 assists for 8 points, 13 shots on net, 7 loose balls. Like, he's never talked about, really. I mean, more people are talking about him now for sure. But last year, he's the best player on this team. And this year, he's the best player on this team. And I said that when they brought all these guys in. Like, all these additions are great. But Keegan Ball is the best player on that team. Like, he's arguably, there has to be, especially to me, and I don't know where he plays in the summer, if he plays in the summer, but to me, I think that he's in the conversation for best player in the world. I'm not saying he is the best player in the world. I'm saying he's got to be at this point in the conversation because every game, like you want to go look at the stats this season, right? I just run stats all the time. So that's how I know, that's how I know. That's kind of what when I'm seeing these stats every week, I'm like, man, what is going on here? And yeah, so like, my defensive player of the week. Now, you could give it to Callum Jones almost every week. Like, there's an argument to be made. He could be it, right? Another one was Gillies had a big 13 loose balls, right? But the one guy I think I'm going to give it to is Will Johansson. He had 10 loose balls, 3 caused turnovers, was everywhere on the like just everywhere, and he was a big reason and a big part of why his team won. The work ethic, everything. I got to give it to him. To be honest with you, it's definitely him. So with that being said, there's all my player awards there, guys. There's arguments to be made about everything. Oh, goaltender of the week. I didn't tell me my goaltender of the week. I will go back. Hold on. Let's go find the goaltender of the week too. I have to. Now, like this is going to be a controversial one because like you had Aiden Walsh getting 57 shots for 50 saves for 87.7. There is a war. Like if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, yep, I agree. Like that, you robbed the door. He could be your goalie of the week all day. There's nothing to talk about. And I think honestly, if Deacon Knott would have won, you could argue that he could be it. But I think because he didn't win, I can't give him it, right? So I'm gonna give it to my boy. You know who I love, right? Everybody knows who I love. I'm gonna give it to my boy. Like you could Aiden Walsh, it's so easy to give it to him, and I kind of feel bad about not giving it to him. But I can tell you, Aiden Walsh stopped Rochester, which really just wasn't that great, in my opinion. Maybe Aiden Walsh made them look not that great, but Zach Higgins, to me, with that Colorado offense to stop them, it just, to me, that was too impressive. And to get like 38 shots, 33 saves for an 86.8 save percentage, I'm going to give it to Higgins. And it's not just that, it's the eye test. Walsh was amazing. Walsh is very great games, flashes this season, some bad games, but like Calgary, to be honest with you, it's like I said, it's just unfortunate they're not going to get another big piece that's going to be a franchise builder, because Calgary's got a great fan base and everything. Like, but overall, the attendance was fantastic this week. Like, 3 games were almost 10,000. One game was over 10,000. 2 others were like right there. You had Philadelphia almost hitting 7,000, and then you had Rochester, which is what it is. So let's go over the standings real quick. So you got Saskatchewan going 10-3. You have Colorado Mammoth going 9-4. You have Vancouver Warriors going 9-4. You have Georgia Swarm going 8-4. Sorry. Let's go over the standings quick. So you still have Saskatchewan sitting at 10-3 right now. Other teams lost this week and let their chances to try to jump Saskatchewan slip through their fingers. So you had Colorado at 9-4, same as Vancouver at 9-4. You had Georgia at 8-4. So now Georgia's got a game in hand over these guys. They could get right back in there. You have Ottawa at 8-5. So Ottawa is creeping up, circling. Toronto is 7-5. Buffalo is 6-6, as well as San Diego. You got Rochester with 5-6. You have Halifax with 5-7. You have Las Vegas with 4-7. You have Calgary with 3. If you have a Captain America in Philly, like, go get it. Now, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see if they want to lean into that thing, because all the politic bullshit. I think that for it's sick. What a great, with the Marvel thing, and they have all the young players. Joey Rez, he obviously just got traded from there and stuff. It's huge there. So the power rankings for this week go as follows: Vancouver, Georgia, Colorado, Ottawa, Buffalo, Toronto, and San Diego. So Saskatchewan clear cream of the crop. They had a bad weekend last weekend, but I think that was a once-off, so we're going to see them come back strong. You have Vancouver. Vancouver's still one of those top teams. I know they just lost to Toronto, but I mean, luckily for them, Colorado did take a loss. Georgia lost against Philly the week before, so it's hard. If they would have got double back-to-back wins, I'd probably have Georgia here, because they lost to Philly. In my mind, it does take them down a little bit. You got I got Georgia at number 3. Georgia, like I said, they did lose to Philly last week, but man, it's hard to bet against them, especially Nolan Byrne, Lyle Thompson, Michael Grace, and Brett Dobson. Like, how do you bet against that, right? So I think they're number 3. Colorado, number 4. Colorado, it's funny because I just looked at Colorado's schedule, and the last 3 weeks, or their last 3 games, they're 1-2. They've lost against Toronto and Ottawa and beat San Diego. So realistically, I'm almost tempted to put Colorado down a little bit farther, but that trio, we're gonna see if they have one more bad week, they're gonna end up dropping down this list. But Colorado, I think that trio is just so hard to bet against. They do tend to get shut down occasionally though, but we'll see. I don't know what happened with Will Malcolm there. He was in the game, but 0 points. So I can't remember if he got pulled out early or something. But anyway, you got Ottawa. Ottawa are the Kingslayers of this league. I'm telling you right now, they are absolutely fantastic. You got Buffalo right there. Buffalo, they had a bye week. They had an amazing weekend last weekend, beating Saskatchewan and beating Toronto. They could be higher. I'm going to keep them here for now. Right now, they are. Toronto, as much as they went in and beat Vancouver, I need to see a bit more consistency out of them. Right now, if they would have beat Buffalo right now, they'd be riding so high on this list. This list is tight. It could easily change, I'm telling you. But Toronto's at 7, and then San Diego's finally at 8. It's hard. I mean, realistically, it's San Diego, again, let's go look at San Diego for a minute. So San Diego, for example, they've had back-to-back losses now. They lost against Colorado and the Vancouver. They beat Halifax by a goal. They beat Oshawa. They lost against, they've had a cakewalk of a schedule right here. They played Ottawa, they lost against them. Rochester they beat. Calgary they beat. Toronto they beat. Vancouver Ottawa they beat, which was a huge game opening, and I said that might haunt Ottawa going down the stretch, but I think now looking at it, San Diego really killed it. So then you got Rochester. They lost to Rochester, lost Calgary, lost to Toronto. Then they came back and beat Vancouver in an absolutely massive win, upset win, 11-9, which is that's a little bit salty in that win, I will say, with Vancouver fans. You got Philadelphia, back-to-back wins. Georgia couldn't even do that, so shout out to San Diego for doing that, because, like I said, Georgia couldn't even do that. Then you got Saskatchewan. They lost to Saskatchewan. No real shame in that. They beat Oshawa. Halifax they beat by a goal, which is, again, that was one that Halifax probably really needed to get and might have cost them their season. Then you got Colorado. They lost them 14-12, lost to Vancouver 9-7, and they have Saskatchewan, Buffalo, Toronto, Georgia, Las Vegas, and Las Vegas again to finish off the season. That's a rough schedule to finish the season. I don't think San Diego's making the playoffs here. And we're going to go through this in a minute. I'm going to do a whole thing on it because I don't even care. These podcasts are going to be long. It is what it is. But buckle up. So there's my power rankings for you guys. Go over the league leaders here, guys. Go over the league leaders. So we have right now, we have a tie for the league leaders, which is the first time this happened all season. You have Jeff Teat with 90 points. You have Keegan Ball with 90 points. You have Jeff Teat with 35 goals. Keegan Ball with 29 goals. Keegan Ball has 61 assists. So they both have 90 points. Keegan Ball obviously has a few more assists. Jeff Teat has more goals. You have both of them putting up 6.9 points per game. Absolutely massive. I really don't think either one of you guys have had that bad of a night. I think the low point for them might be 3 points. Even if it's that low, you've got 8 power play goals for Jeff Teat. You have 7 power play goals for Keegan Ball. You also have 3 shorthanded goals for Keegan Ball. And I think the only one that's beating him there is Dane Smith with 4. So that's incredible. Shooting percentage. Keegan Ball, surprisingly, since he had 13 shots and only 1 goal this last week, which is crazy, but he has a 22.8 shooting percentage where Jeff Teat has 18.7. You got Simmons with a 19.4. You have Ryan Keenan with 27. That's insane. And it's Launchberry with 24.6, so 25%. That's crazy. You have, I'm not going to go into too much. I will say Jeff Teat has 6 caused turnovers this season, which is huge, and 3 block shots. So he's really He's really sacrificing his body. But that's what I'm saying. Like Vancouver, there could be an argument to be made. Keegan Ball is the MVP. And I haven't heard that being said too much yet, but it's looking more and more and more like that. To be honest with you, you got Dane Smith in that 3rd spot with 79 points. So there's there's an 11-point difference, but Dane Smith has played 1 less game, but you can see it. I mean, he's still at 6.6 points per game, which is crazy because considering I would say he's having a down year at about 11 this year, but I could be wrong. So that was just my guess too. You got Alex Simmons in the 4th place with 76 points. Again, I'm disappointed that he's going to be not made the playoff. There's only a few guys with 30 goals. He's one of them. He's got 30 goals, 46 assists with a 5.8 goal point per game production. As again, absolutely massive. You got Hellier in there with 25 goals, 50 assists for 75 points, 43 assists for 74 points. Connor Fields, he's only played 11 games. Connor Fields, I don't want to say a bad night. Again, 3-point game this game, but 30 goals, 41 assists for 71 points. You got Josh Byrne with 20 goals, 46 for 68 points. Again, he's having a little bit of a down year as well. You got Robert Church with 24 goals, 43 assists for 67 points. And Launchberry finally rounds up the top 10 with 16 goals, 49 assists for 65 points. So we're starting to see this really add up, guys. This is still... I wouldn't say this is much of a race, to be honest with you right now, other than you got the 2 guys at the top. Keegan Ball is scrapping his way in there to try to fight for that, and you still might see him steal it off Jeff Teat. But I think Jeff Teat, to be honest with you, if he gets Ottawa to the playoffs, he is the MVP. If you're talking players-wise, there's a whole other argument to be made with goaltenders, and we're going to go talk about them right now. So we got the goaltenders. Now, I always skip over the backups because, realistically, they're going to be at the top. But let's start with, some real guys who have played full season so far. You have Brett Dobson at the top of this list with an 85.7 save percentage. I will shout out a little bit Nathan Whittam because he's played 74 minutes. Don't get me wrong, Dobson's played 700 minutes, okay, just to give this perspective. But Nathan Whittam, man, he's got an 85.5 save percentage when he's in there. He's 1-0. Brett Dobson's 8-4, by the way, this season. And he's amazing, man. It's just insane. Brett Dobson's he's 7 saves away from having 500 saves this season already. It's crazy. And he's got a game in hand than everybody else. He's still got 6 games left. So we got Dylan Ward is right up there. Had a little bit of a rough game, but he bounced back this week. Even though he didn't get the win, but he still bounced back this week. Great game by him individually. And he's got an 81.6 save percentage. He's got an under 10 goal against average. Huge. Christian Del Bianco is also at an 81.3 save percentage, as well as Warren Hill with an 81.1. Nick DeMoods with an 80.5. Would have loved to see him get moved somewhere today. You got Nick Rose with an 80.2. Frankie with an 80. You got Thomas Klazak with an 80 as well. I just kind of want to mention him because, again, he's a guy that's played 66 minutes, so he's got a little bit. And then you got Deacon Knott and Jameson with a 79, as well as Hutch as well for Halifax. Again, Hutch has played 116 minutes. Realistically, he's a 78.5. He's had good games. He's had bad games. It's kind of one of those things. Aiden Walsh has a 78.1. So this is crazy. Aiden Walsh is right now on the list. He's ranked 18th. Hartley is in there too at 78.4. So it's insane. Matt Vance is below all these guys at 77.3, and Zach Higgins is at a 77.2, which is crazy. Howachuk Troy's at a 77.1, and then Landon Kells is at a 75.4. And I think that's really the last the last starter, you know what I mean? Hutch Crafts has played 200 and something minutes, and he's at 69.9, so he's having not great. But they always throw him in bad situations. I'm going to say that a little bit, but I don't know. Rochester, to me, are these your 2 guys? Is this who you're running with? I like Hartley myself. I know that there's mixed things about him out there. Some people say that he's great. Other people think he's not great. I think that he is good, but he's just not consistent enough is the best way I can say. These guys are just elite, but all these guys obviously are. So I think I've hit everything. I'm just trying to think in my head. Okay, so we're going to go through the games, the next week games here, and I'm going to run through the playoff chances. I just want to run through each team here and just kind of run through the playoff chances quick, and then that'll be the episode. So we got Toronto versus Halifax this week. This is a game that was supposed to be deciding the fate of my team. Now, I can tell you right now that I don't want to be on a team fan base right now. A couple different reasons. One, you guys are too nice. Like, I don't want to ruin people. Like, these fan bases are way too nice. I'm telling you. Like, we got to get a little bit more toxic. And until we're at that level, I don't want to ruin it and come in and ruin that vibe for you guys. So I'm just going to trash the whole league so that I can have my attention on the good teams, and then I don't focus all my attention on a team that's not playing well. Because if I was a Halifax fan right now, I would be losing my motherfucking mind. If I was an Oshawa fan right now, I would be losing my mind. If I was a Philly fan, like the list goes on and on, right? Now Philly a little bit different because I do think they have quite the bright future, but right now just the moves that Halifax has made, in my opinion, isn't where I thought that they would be when they were sitting here. So I would be losing my mind. So this is what I mean. Like, I'm going to do a video soon of where I'm sitting with this, because I think a lot of people are kind of like starting to wonder what's going on. And I'll probably do this week because this is the week that I was supposed to choose it. Now, I will say Halifax is almost not in the running anymore because Tyson Bell played for that team. He doesn't play for that team anymore. He's the one that commented. They've never commented on my stuff. Halifax. I have other teams that have. The Toronto Rock are the only one that follow me. I'm from Hamilton. Like, I kind of do feel like I should take Toronto Rock as a team. But then there's also like, I'm in love with the Georgia storyline right now, to be honest with you. I die on the hill that Lyle Thompson's the best player in the world up till this season, I would say. And this season's been a little bit rocky for him, but he's still, he's had one or two games that have flashed, and he's mentoring Nolan Byrne. I really like Nolan Byrne. Nolan Byrne might be my favorite player in the league right now, to be honest with you. Watching that kid, I love it. I love watching that kid play. And I'm a big Tyson Bell fan, obviously. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know where I want to be, guys. I don't know. I think it changes. Like, every year it changes. Like, Oshawa, I was really kind of, to be honest with you guys, I was very close to becoming an Oshawa fan. Like, I was pretty much there. I was. And then they just showed no heart. And I won't be their fan when their team's going to show no heart. I'm not being their fan. Now, this last week, they're the Leafs of the NHL or the NLL though, and it's like, do I really want to get back in that toxic relationship? And again, their fans are nice because they're new, they're fresh. It's a new team there, all that stuff. I'm toxic when it comes to my own teams, man. I'm critical. Like, I want to see the best thing perform. So I don't know if I get on a team, if me becoming a part of a fan base is the best thing to do. I think I'm almost better suited to just stay neutral. And I'm so diehard. I don't think anybody's like, oh, you got to pick a team. You don't understand how diehard I am then, because it's like, once I ride with the team, I ride with that team. So it's like, I don't know, man. And to be honest with you, like I said, I joke. I'm like, whatever team hires me is what I am. But I do kind of want to get a tattoo. Like, I would really love to be a part of a fan base. I would. It's like, Ottawa's another one that I really like. Right? Ottawa's another one that I really like. And like, they came into the league last year when I became a fan. Like, they're really not that far from me. Like, they're not bad. And they need fans because they don't fill their building. They need somebody that's yelling at people. But, I don't know. I don't know yet. I really don't know. And then if Buffalo goes into rebuild, maybe I to get the history, but I can't be a Buffalo fan. Never going to happen. It's like going to the dark side. Saskatchewan's another one. I feel bad about jumping on that fan base because it's like, they're so good. Vancouver, another one that I really like, but again, just too good. I like underdoggies, and I prefer almost to pick a team every year. Like, I prefer to be like, okay, I'm running with this one. And I am. I will pick another. Like, last year I ran with Saskatchewan for the playoffs, right? I thought they were the only team that could maybe give Buffalo a run. Can't jump on the bandwagon. This year, I can't jump on the Saskatchewan bandwagon because they're the favorites. I can't be a favorites. I can't be on the favorites. So honestly, like, Colorado's the only one in the top four that I'll probably end up jumping on because I can't be on a fan base that was looking at like, oh, you're a contender. So like, that basically eliminates like Buffalo, Saskatchewan, and Vancouver, I think, right away. And then obviously I'm not going to take Philly, Oshawa, or Calgary right now because they're all in the basement. So like, that kind of narrows it down for you guys. Like, that's 6 teams. What does that leave? That leaves 8 teams left that I can be a fan of or for the playoffs. And you got to think so 8 teams. We got 4. You got 3. They're eliminated because they're going to make playoffs. So that leaves 5 playoff spots. So there's really only 5 teams out of the 8 that I'll actually be choosing between. So that's kind of my thought process for the playoffs. And then the deal is, what I'm going to make, I will make this deal. I will say, whoever, if the team that I jump on wins the championship, I automatically become a fan of their thing. Or if next year we'll do the same thing, we'll ride with. I think that's kind of how I might choose my fan base, to be honest with you, is just by riding with a team and getting to experience that moment and watch them win a championship, and then we ride with that team. I think that's a cool way to kind of choose how to be a fan. So, and then I can kind of start every year, right? And it'll be like, it's an investment. And then until a team wins the championship that I choose, I won't become a fan. So I think that's, you guys might have just seen the brainstorm, if you're here still, the brainstorm that's going on here, right? So that's kind of my process. Leave me in the comments if you think that's a good idea, right? I'm going to be doing a video later, but it's going to be interesting to see if anybody here would actually think that's a good idea or not. So love to see that. Let's do the preview for next week, and then we'll go through each playoff team, okay? So Toronto, I'm going to take Halifax and Toronto. Oh, God, I got to take Toronto, guys. I got to take Toronto in this one. Halifax isn't winning. They're down Randy. They're down Tyson. We'll see. If Casey plays, maybe I'll consider it, but as of right now, I'm taking Toronto. You got Philadelphia over Oshawa in the rematch. I think Oshawa takes this at home, to be honest with you. Philly doesn't need to win. They don't want to win. Philly should go out there and stand still, to be honest with you. Just tank to the bottom. So Oshawa's going to get that win. Colorado versus Buffalo. Oh, that's a hard game. I'm going to take Colorado on this one. They had a loss, and they need to get back in that win column. This is a tough game. This could go either way. Buffalo in Buffalo, hard to beat. Buffalo back against the wall, harder to beat. But I'm going to take Colorado in this one, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. You got San Diego versus Saskatchewan. I'm going to say Saskatchewan. They're not going to come out like they did. San Diego has way too hard of a time. We're going to go through it, but I don't think they make the hot take or like little preview to what you're about to see. Then you got Ottawa versus Calgary. I'm going to take Ottawa on this one. Calgary had a big game this last week. They don't need to keep winning, but you never know. And imagine if they went on a run and somehow squeaked into the playoffs. Like they go 9-9. Like if they got 6 wins in a row, they could do it. I guess technically where are they? Yeah, they would have to get 6 in a row. I don't think they're not going to do that, but that's magic. I love that. But I'm going to take every game just to even Travis a glance, a glimmer of a chance. They're not going to. I'm going to say. Sorry, we're on Vancouver versus Georgia. I'm going to say. Oh, this is a hard one. Vancouver just took a loss to Toronto. Georgia's trying to climb. This is a banger. I'm not betting against Brett Dobson. I'll tell you that. Vancouver, they're going to take another L. I'm going to take Brett Dobson at home with Georgia. Al Thompson, Nolan Byrne, all the boys I talk about all the time. Georgia, I'm going to probably, they're at the very top of the list for who I'm riding with this year in the playoffs. Brett Dobson, I think might be the number one jersey that I want to hang on the wall because I think he's going to be, like, I don't want to pump his tires too hard, but I think if he can do what I think he can this season, he's going to start building a really good resume for being like the top elite level goaltender. And I don't want to say too much more than that. So we'll leave it at that. You've got San Diego. I'm going to take Saskatchewan against San Diego all day on this one for sure. And then you got Ottawa versus Calgary. I'm going to take Ottawa. And then you got Rochester versus Las Vegas. And I'm going to take Vegas on this one, boys. Vegas, Tyson Bell, Chase Frazier hopefully back. Rochester down and out. Like they're whimpering. And we're going to go through these teams here in a minute. I'm going to give you guys my playoff prediction right now. So there you have it. There's my predictions for next week. Big games. There's some big games on here that are definitely important games. Like the kind of ones that stand out to me is the Toronto Halifax one's a big important game because Halifax is fighting for their life still at this point, and they're still in the playoff picture. And you guys, CP24 is not going to fucking sit down because they just lost Tyson Bell, but that's a big loss to them. You got Philadelphia versus Oshawa. I'm going to go like we already went through this, but like I'm going to say the big games to watch this week. If I have to pick and choose, I'm going to definitely see the Toronto Halifax. I'd like to try to get down there. I'm going to try to get down there. I'm going to do my best. I'm not making promises though. My daughter's got a cheer competition this weekend, so I'm going to do my best, but I would love to go down there and try to give the boys some support. It's going to be weird because I'm going to be rocking a Toronto jersey though, because I'm definitely going to be, I got to roll with Toronto now at this point. Like I have to, I think Toronto needs to win. And I just don't think Halifax, I'm going into enemy territory. Everyone thinks I'm a Halifax fan. I'm rocking a Toronto jersey to Halifax this year, this game. So I'm going to be the dark side of things here. You've got, that's the one I'll watch Friday for sure. I'll watch the late game, obviously. Colorado, that's a big one. Colorado, Buffalo, that's a massive game. Philly, Oshawa game doesn't really matter. Like, let's be real. It doesn't fucking mean nothing. Battle of the basement, basically. But Oshawa, show some heart. Go get a win in your home barn, please. I don't think they've won at home this year. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think they have. And so that's another one that I would watch. Saskatchewan should walk the floor with San Diego. It's still going to be a good game, but it's not something I would say I would definitely be watching the Vancouver, Georgia game over that. And Ottawa, Calgary is interesting, but again, Ottawa should, again, that's a game Ottawa needs to win if they want to make the playoffs. I think Jeff Teat is too focused not to win that game, especially after Calgary winning. And then, yeah, so to be honest with you, the Las Vegas Rochester is a massive game too for both those teams. That's like a win or go home for Vegas situation, and that's like the same thing Halifax was in, right? Vegas has a tall mountain to climb, especially after losing that game to Halifax last week. And Rochester, it's another one. It's like Rochester if they want to make the playoffs. So let's look this over here. So let's go back to standings for 2 seconds here. So we got Saskatchewan locked, obviously. Like Saskatchewan's already, I think they might have clinched the playoff spot if they haven't. Like they basically have, right? So they're clinched. Colorado, I would say was like they need one win to get in. I'll look through their schedule and be like, okay, they're getting their win, they're in. So we got Saskatchewan making it, Colorado making it, Vancouver's making it. Georgia, I gotta put Georgia. So I'm gonna say 3 teams are locked for sure, right? Because Georgia, technically, if they go on a skid, they could still miss the playoffs. So I would say those 3 teams are locked down. Georgia gets one more win and they're basically locked in. So let's start with them. So I'm not gonna look at Saskatchewan, Colorado, or Vancouver, and then the guys that are out, we're gonna make Philly, Oshawa, Calgary. Like I'm gonna eliminate them right now. Now Calgary, like I said, if they go on a 6-game winning streak, for sure. If Oshawa's done and Philly's done, I would say Calgary, there is a sliver of a chance that they still make the playoffs. It's so low that I'm not counting it. So I'm not going to look at their stuff, right? That's the storyline that they have to win every game. So if they win 2 or 3 in a row, we'll start talking about that storyline. For right now, we're not going to. Looking at Georgia, Ottawa, Toronto, Buffalo, San Diego, Rochester, and Halifax, and Vegas, sorry. So here we go. So let's start with Georgia here. So we got Georgia. Let's look at Georgia because they're the number 1 team right now. Number 1 guy in this group. So anyway, so we've got, for Georgia, now they started out with a 2-3 record. So considering they've turned this around is crazy. And they had they had a 6-game win streak too here, and until they lost to Philly, which is crazy. They lost to Philly at home. It is what it is, right? But Philly really wanted that win too, and they shut them down fantastic. And Nick DeMood really put them on his back, like 90 save percentage of that game, like insane. So we've got Vancouver. That's a hard game, but I think they get the win, especially because it's a playoff clinching game. So I think Georgia gets it, but it is what it is. So Georgia needs essentially one win, like we said, right? Maybe two to clinch for sure. So we're gonna try to get them two. So Vancouver is a both. Halifax, they should win this game. Like that. This is one I said Halifax has to steal off Georgia, but they're gonna win. They should win. I'm going to check their box. Ottawa is Kingslayers. They might get them. That's not such an easy win. San Diego, I think they dog walked with San Diego, especially if they go on a little skid here where they lose 3 in a row. You know what I mean? Because you got scrappy teams in there. By the time they get to San Diego, they're going to win that game. Rochester back to back. They're going to split those games. Even if they don't get 2, they're going to split those games. So I count 3 pretty guaranteed wins there. Not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed in this league. But if I had to guess, I think they're going to beat Halifax. I think they probably get Ottawa, but I'm not going to give them that win. Vancouver, I'm not going to give them that win, but I'm going to give them the Seals. I'm going to give them 1 at Rochester. That's 3 games. With that being said, that would pencil them in. If they get 3 wins, that pencils them in at, I'm going to actually send this to Kelly too. We got Sask, we got Colorado, we got Georgia. Georgia will be in because like I just said, Georgia's probably going to finish with like I said, if I give them 3 wins, they give them 11 wins. That sounds about right. Like 11-ish, 11 and 6. And even then, they might still get a few more, right? They could beat Rochester twice, all that kind of stuff. So right now, I got Georgia's basically locked. Like they definitely have to close it out, but Georgia needs 1 win, 2 wins for sure. And like I said, I count 3, so they're pretty safe. So let's look at Ottawa next because they're kind of the next team on the list here. Ottawa. So you've got like Ottawa's point production is pretty ridiculous, but it really falls off. You got Jeff Teat, Robert Hellier, and Riley O'Connor. Riley O'Connor's got 60 points. Hellier's got 75, and Jeff Teat's got 90. But then it's like Kiernan, which when he comes up big, they do win. 39 points, 33 for Sundown, and then Firth got 19, and then Brownell got 10. So like I would say they need a bit more scoring, but it is what it is. Like Callum Jones is absolutely. You should see the numbers on Callum Jones. Callum Jones like 124 loose balls. 28 turnovers. Like that's insane. Like that's insane, guys. Then you've got Higgies. Like Higgins, Tyler Carlson only had 10 minutes played, but I mean he's a solid backup too. Not much of a sample size, but Higgins has a 77.2. He's gonna have to be better, and you've seen that. You see Higgins have really good games and really bad games, so he needs to be really good to finish the season off. So they got 8 wins right now, right? Ottawa, is that what they are right now? They're 8-5. So realistically, Ottawa's basically clinched this thing. But let's talk about it. So they got Calgary this week. I almost have to guarantee Ottawa win there. Like it's written in the stars. It's basically a game. Again, they need the win to clinch the playoff. They essentially need 2 wins, right? Because they have 8 wins. So they have Calgary, Vancouver, Georgia, Toronto, and Halifax. So here's the thing. So Calgary, I think they have to win this game. They have to win this next game in order to set themselves up. Because I don't know if they beat Vancouver. I'm not saying they can't. They can. They're Kingslayers, right? But they're not. That game's not guaranteed. Georgia game's not guaranteed. That's a both. I would give the edge to Georgia probably, but realistically, Ottawa, Kingslayers, like I just said. And this is going to be important. Then Toronto, you've got that's a toss-up game. And then Halifax number 2. So I'm going to count 2 guaranteed wins there. I'm going to say they're going to make the playoffs, to be honest with you. I'm going to say they make the playoffs. Now, is it going to be in the 5th spot? I don't know. Are they going to get a home field advantage? I doubt it. They basically got 2 wins left. And that's to say, I think by that last week. Now, the narrative could flip here if all of a sudden Halifax is like gearing up and they need that last win. Like that could be a fucking banger of a game. That could be a playoff decider, that last game, to be honest with you. I'll play it out. But if I had to guess, they beat Calgary. And then realistically, they're probably going to steal one of those games between Toronto, Georgia, and Vancouver. Like one of those games are going to go win. And even Toronto, like arguably you could say Ottawa has a better team than Toronto. It really depends on how Toronto's sitting at that point and all this stuff. So these are going to be very important games down the stretch. And I'm going to say Ottawa does make the playoffs. Like I said, they need 2 wins. 1 win, like realistically, so if they beat Calgary, that basically clinches them because then they get into tiebreakers. So as long as they can get 1 win and keep the tiebreakers, but I think they do just end up, like they get 2 wins and just clinch it out, keep it in their own hands, their fate. They've stolen enough wins this year already that I don't think people had. But I would just like to point out that when they lost in San Diego in the beginning of the season, I said this might come back to haunt you. Or to haunt them. And right now we're sitting that. Right now, if they would have had that win as well, they'd be sitting in a playoff spot. Just throwing that out there. So that was a shitty way to start the season. I will say that. I've been pretty vocal on that one too. Well, Ottawa's in. We'll go Toronto next. Let's look at Toronto. So Toronto's sitting right now. They're 7-5, right? So they've played 12 games. They have They've got 6 games left, right? So that's an advantage too. They got one little bit extra game there. They've beat some really good teams, like teams they beat. They beat Vancouver, they beat Colorado, they beat Ottawa, they beat Rochester, they beat San Diego, and they beat Calgary. So like they've got some good wins in there, impressive wins. They've got a couple games in there they probably should have won. Toronto, that Oshawa win should probably be in Toronto's favor. In all fairness, there was a toe that I said was so close by CJ Kirst that it's crazy they didn't call it. But at the end of the day, ifs, cans, all that stuff, they didn't get it done. Vegas was another winnable game, I would say. But Vegas, again, they needed that win because they had a really rough start to the season. Georgia, no shame in that one. Colorado, again, they came back and beat Colorado the next week, which is that one I think was game of the year for Toronto, honestly. Buffalo, that was another one that I was hoping they would get. But again, Buffalo was back against the wall. They needed that win. So they play Halifax this week. I'm going to take Toronto in this game. I'm taking Toronto. If Tyson Bell wouldn't have left there, I would have probably taken Halifax, but Toronto is going to take this game. You got Saskatchewan. They're going to lose against that one probably. That's more than likely a loss. You got Philadelphia. They should win. San Diego, I think they beat that team. I think Toronto's a better team all around than San Diego, but that could go both ways. I'm going to give them the win. Ottawa, I'm going to give the edge to Ottawa on this one, to be honest with you. And then Saskatchewan again. So I'm going to give them 3 wins, and they might steal one. They should really have to, they kind of have to beat Saskatchewan one of these games, hopefully. Especially with Saskatchewan that last week. They're going to be coasting. You might see them rest a little bit. So I'm going to give Toronto, because they got Halifax, they got Philly. San Diego, I think they beat, but again, that's San Diego's weird like that. And then I think they take one of the Saskatchewan wins just out of the way they've been playing. So I'm going to say they get 3-4 wins here. So let's just go on the side of caution. They get 3 wins. That brings them to 10. I'm going to say Toronto's going to make the playoffs, right? I'm going to say that. Okay. Now this is in no particular. I'm going by standings right now, right? So then we've got next Toronto. You got Buffalo. Now Buffalo, this is interesting. Okay. This is interesting here. Buffalo's 3-3 at home and 3-2 on, or sorry, they're 3-3 at home, 3-3 on the road. You've got here. So Buffalo, they beat Georgia. They beat Vegas. They lost to Halifax the first time. They lost to Halifax 9-8. Very, very tight game. And then I think they end up beating them again. Yeah. So they beat them. They lost one. They won one to Halifax. So they split this series. You got Rochester. I think actually both their games against Halifax, I think went to overtime. No, not the second one. Sorry. So anyway, so they did beat Saskatchewan, which was a massive win. Toronto last weekend was a massive win. That Halifax win was a must win. Vancouver losing to them, that was another one that they probably really would have wanted. Philadelphia losing to them, that was one they should have got. That's where I thought their season might be done, especially after it was a fourth game in the losing streak. But they're resilient, man. Rochester again, that one probably. They should have probably had that game. Ottawa's played really well, but the 1-goal game that could have went either way. That Colorado 20-9 loss, though, that one's pretty rough. Honestly, we're gonna say that. But anyway, moving on. So they've got 6 games left. They've got Colorado, San Diego, Saskatchewan, Vancouver, Rochester, and Oshawa. And I can tell you right now, I'm gonna say they lose. I think they lose to Colorado this week. I do. I think they take the L on this one. It's in Colorado, or the next time they play March 13th, which is, this is this week. So I think they take the L to Colorado. I have to say that. You got San Diego, they should beat Saskatchewan. They already beat them once. I think Saskatchewan gets that game. They're not going to lose both games to Saskatchewan, I don't think. Or Saskatchewan's not going to lose both games to them, I don't think. Vancouver's another one that's hard. Rochester, I'm going to give it to them. They'll beat Rochester, I think. They already lost to Rochester. So again, indicator, usually they'll split the series. I can't expect Rochester to beat them twice. And then Oshawa, they should win, especially because Oshawa. So that I count 3 wins here, like 3 guaranteed wins. That brings us to 9-9. Buffalo is going to have to steal one. Is a question mark. Like they got Colorado. So that, we already just went over this, but like Colorado, this is a big game for them. This weekend's a big game for them. If they can win it, then that gives them that much better. But like they're going to beat San Diego, I would think. They're going to have to beat Rochester, and they should beat Oshawa. So that gives like Vancouver, Saskatchewan, Colorado. They kind of got to steal one of those wins. If they can steal one of those wins and beat the other teams they should beat, they make the playoffs. If they don't beat the teams, they have to beat all teams they're supposed to beat. Rochester being the one there that's kind of like, we'll see where they're sitting. That might be a squirrely Rochester team though. So Buffalo, I would say right now, are they going to make playoffs? If I had to put money on it, I'm gonna bet on Buffalo to make the playoffs. I'm going to bet on Buffalo to make the playoffs. So I'm gonna say yes, they're gonna make the playoffs, but it's gonna be tight. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Okay, so just throwing it out there. Then we got San Diego. San Diego, I don't even have to look at their schedule. I'm a San Diego hater. Rightfully so. They've had the most cakewalk schedule of the league. Like they beat Ottawa, which was an impressive win, but they lost to Rochester, which no shame in that realistically. You got Calgary, they lost to. Again, probably should have won that game. You got Toronto, they lost to. Again, no shame in that overly, but again, it's a game you need to win if you want to make the playoffs. They beat Vancouver, which is surprising. That was a big shocker. I didn't think they were going to do that. They beat Philly. That's games they should probably have. You got Saskatchewan lost to. Absolutely no shame in there. Beating Oshawa, kind of again, you need to beat Oshawa if you're going to make the playoffs. Facts. Beating Halifax was impressive. 9-8 win. And they imagine the narrative if they didn't beat Halifax here, though. You got Colorado and Vancouver back-to-back losses. They're on a little bit of a skid here. Here we go. Aurelieri, when he came back, he was coming out firing, winging. And now it kind of seems like he's set back into kind of his normalcy. They've got Saskatchewan. That should be a loss. Buffalo, to me, that's a loss. I'm sorry, it is. And they already play Buffalo this year. They have not. So they didn't play Buffalo. They only played once this year. That's a big game. San Diego tends to give Buffalo a hard time. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that. But at the end of the day, I will say that, it's not looking for San Diego. I'll tell you that because they lost to Saskatchewan. And what are they right now? They are 6-6. Okay, so they need 4 wins. They need 4 wins in their last 6 games, right? So that's hard to get as it is. But let's go to make the playoffs for sure. 9-9 they'll get you in on tiebreakers and stuff. I'm pretty sure. But we're gonna talk about it. So San Diego, they play Saskatchewan. They play Buffalo, so that's 2 losses. Toronto, they should lose to Toronto there, but again, that's a game they're gonna have to steal. You got Georgia, again, that should be a loss for them. Las Vegas, twice. I'm going to give them one of the Vegas games for sure. I'm saying they're going to go 1-5 their last 6 games. I'm a bit of a hater. I know that. Realistically, they'll probably steal one more game, but that's only 2 wins. That gives us 8 wins. They're not making the playoffs. San Diego is not making the playoffs. So we're actually going to go like this. San Diego. And who are they playing? They have 6 games left. Toronto, Buffalo, Georgia, and then Vegas twice. They're not making it. San Diego's not making it. I'm telling you right now, I wish I could parlay this because San Diego is not making that thing. There's no way. 1 win, maybe 2. San Diego, I guarantee you, is not making that team. That they're not making the playoffs. Okay, I'm going to bet the house on that one. I will bet the house on that. Not that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to bet. I'm not taking San Diego. I have no faith in San Diego. Rochester's next one on our list. And so far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clinched, I would say. 5 Buffalo should make it. You can't bet against Buffalo, I would say. Rochester. So we got Rochester here. Rochester's currently 5-6. So they've played not a lot of games. That's kind of their advantage here. So they got 7 games left, right? So that's kind of where Rochester has an advantage over everyone. They have 7 games, right? So we're going to start this. Rochester, I think they're going to probably sneak in here. Like, how can you not? Rochester has 7 games left. So let's see what we got here. So we got Vegas twice. You have Oshawa. So Vegas are going to take one of those, I would say. Oshawa, they'll beat Oshawa. Halifax, that could go either way, to be honest with you. I do think that could go either way, but we're going to see how Halifax is sitting at that point too. And you got Buffalo, that's a loss, and then Georgia twice. And to be honest with you, the way Georgia needs to win, I gave Georgia, I said that they're going to take 1. I'm going to give these guys 1, but I don't think so. I think they're actually going to lose twice. So I'm going to say 3 games, but that is being generous. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's being generous. Like, and they're 5-6. So what did I say? So they'll beat Vegas once. I'm going to say they're going to beat Oshawa. Halifax is a both. They could win that game. Don't get me wrong. So that could be a win. Buffalo are losing against Georgia. I think they're losing against twice, but I give them a win. So like, if you counter it out, you get 4 wins here technically. So at most they're going to be 9 games at most. They'll get 3 or 4 wins. So right now, to be honest with you, they can't be in my. They can't. Brings them to what, 4? So let's say 4 wins brings them to 9-9. So they're on the bubble. I don't know, man. I don't know. And like, what did I say Buffalo was too? By the way, just look at this for 2 seconds. Buffalo. So I said Buffalo is going to get 3 wins, which will bring them to 9-9, but they have to get steal wins. So I have more confidence in Buffalo than I do Rochester for sure. So that's why I kind of got Buffalo in here and not Rochester. But they've got like a little bit easier of a schedule. I would say San Diego should be an easy win for them. Same as Rochester. That's what I mean. Like Rochester, they're going to play each other. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting ride to the end. I'm going to put Buffalo in the thing. I'm going to put Rochester on the outside right now. Let's look at Halifax though. Now Halifax just thought, like we talked about it. Randy Stotts is out. They're currently 5-7. They have to go on. They have to win 5 games, 4 games for sure. Right. So at this point, they've got Toronto Rock. So this is a must win for them again this week, which I think Toronto takes it. So they got Toronto Rock, you got Georgia, you have Philly. So I'm going to give them the Philly win, Rochester, Vancouver, and Ottawa. I'm going to give them a Rochester win, but that's both. I'm telling you. Georgia, they're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Vancouver, not with the roster they have, not with Vancouver being the position they're in at that point. They'll beat Philly. They might beat Rochester. And then Ottawa is going to be dependent. So I'm going to say 2 games for sure. 2 games brings Halifax to 7-9 or 7-10. 8-10, they're not making the playoffs. There's no way. They have to go 5 for 6. Like I said, 4 for 6 for sure. And I only can count 2, 3 wins. This Toronto game is going to be a big teller. I'm going to put Halifax in the knot right now. 8 wins I'm seeing right now on the season. They may be one or 2 more. They just don't have. They play like yeah. They're just not that. That's just not that. Can't be them. So I'm going to put Halifax in no now. Like I said, I think the narrative would have been a little bit different for me if Randy didn't get hurt and if Bell played, if Bell wasn't traded, Randy, and I think that would have been a different narrative. And then finally, who else we got here? So then we got Las Vegas. Finally, we got Las Vegas. And Las Vegas, I'm going to put in here. I do have a funny feeling with Vegas, but let's go count them up. So Vegas has 3, they have 7 games. So they're like Rochester. Vegas has 7 games. I'm going to put Vegas in my making it pile, especially with the addition of Tyson Bell, right? And I think they made a couple other moves. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to go over the trades with you guys. So we'll actually do that after this. This podcast is going to be so long. So Vegas, 7 games. Again, a little bit of an advantage between everybody else. They've got Rochester twice. So you got to know they're going to split one of those games for sure. If not beat them twice, they might beat them twice. I'm not lying, especially if Chase Frazier's back. That's the big what if, right? So you got Rochester twice, so they're going to take one. You got Calgary they should beat. Colorado they're probably going to lose against. Philadelphia, they're going to beat Philly. And then they're going to take San Diego once out of the twice, I'm going to say, right? And they realistically, they probably get San Diego twice. If they need that second win, they're going to probably get it. But that's a one that comes down to this could be the last thing. So to be honest with you, they have a pretty easy schedule. I would say they have the easiest schedule of the people I've seen left. So Vegas started off with a rough schedule. I think they're ending with a kind of an easier schedule. Again, this is they're gonna steal one of these wins for sure from Rochester for this to happen. But as of right now, like I said, I'm gonna count about 4 of those wins: San Diego once, Philadelphia, Calgary, and the Rochester. So 4. They could even get 6 wins here, guys. Like Vegas could still get a possibly 6 wins because of their schedule, but they'll get 4. So even with 4 wins, that gives them a record of 8. Wow, 4 wins. They need more than that. So they got to get 6 wins because they're at 4 and 7. Okay, I didn't realize how. Yeah, actually, you know what? They're 4 and 7. So win. So that's 4, 5, 6. So they need. I would say they need at least 5 wins. So they got to get the Buffalo or Las Vegas needs about 5 wins. They do have to steal one of these series. Essentially, they need to get Rochester back or San Diego back. I think it's more likely to get San Diego back. So if they get one of these wins against Rochester, they beat Calgary, they lose to Colorado, they beat Philly. That's going to give them 1, 2, 3 wins. That's going to put them at what a 7 and 8 record, right? So 7 and 8 record. No, 1, 2, 3. So that'll be a 7 and 10 record with San Diego back to back. No, wait, right? So 1, 2, 3. So it'll be 7 wins, and then that's 2 losses. That's 3 and 2. That leads them. So they'll be 3 and 2 headed in. So that's 3. That's 7 and 9. They're going to be 7 and 9 in my opinion, unless they can steal the Rochester series. They'll be 7 and 9 going into. They should be 7 and 9 going into week 21, where they play San Diego back to back. San Diego is in another position to ruin somebody's season. So that's going to be interesting. Those San Diego games are going to be important. They got to win. They might need to win both of those games. That's going to bring them. Because what I say, they're going to win. If they win 3, that's 7 and 9. They either do that or they have to beat Rochester twice. If they beat Rochester twice, beat Calgary, they get 3-game win streak, lose to Colorado, beat Philly. That gives them a 4 out of 5 games. So that brings them into like that 8. They're 8 and 8 at that point, and that's going to be the better position for them. So it's in order to give themselves the best position, they need to beat Rochester twice. They have to beat Rochester at least once if they want to make the playoffs. So I do have to say that. So I'm going to say, are they going to make playoffs? Yes, but they have to. So yeah, they have to beat Rochester twice, or they have to beat San Diego twice. They have to take both these games. I think it's more likely to take San Diego at the end of the season, especially that team's going to be kind of hitting the bricks. I'm surprised they didn't make any moves really this thing, but we're going to go into that in a minute. So right now, what do I have? I've got, oh man. So I've got Sask, Colorado, Vancouver, Georgia, Ottawa, Toronto, Buffalo, and Vegas. If I had to best, that would be my playoff thing. So that's my playoff picture right now. I think Vegas has a good shot to do what I just said. So I'm going to say Saskatchewan, Colorado, Vancouver, Georgia, Ottawa, Toronto, Buffalo, and then Las Vegas is my top 8 right now. Those are my playoff teams right now. Pending over the next few weeks, that might change a little bit, but I think that's going to be locked in. I don't see Halifax doing it. I don't see Rochester doing it. I don't see San Diego doing it. I think their schedules are a bit too hard. Rochester's got the bit of an advantage that they have 7 games still. Right? I think from San Diego. I want to just double check this, but I think Rochester still has 7 games is what I've seen. If I'm not mistaken, they're 5 and 6. So yeah, so they got 7 games left. So that's Rochester's in. I want to put that in my notes here. So yeah, that's my thought process on all this, guys. I would love to, if somebody knows where I can put a parlay on all of that, I would love to do that because that's pretty much, that's going to be playoffs. That's the 8 teams that make the playoffs. That's where we're at, I think. I really truly believe that at that point. So I want to go see NLL, actually the site. We're going to go into the transactions for today quickly. I keep forgetting to do this, so I want to do this for you guys. Let's go to transactions. Busy day today, busy day. You Kyle Jackson get placed on the active roster from holdout list by Philly. I think that was the whole PLL situation there, if I'm not mistaken, where he had to play in that PLL tournament. You have Nathan Cap for Rochester going from practice player to the active roster. This is all on March 8th. So I'm just kind of reading this off. And then you have Rylan Rees on active roster from the injury reserve. And then this is where the meat and potatoes get into it. So let's run through all the trades that happened today. So you have Calgary Roughnecks have traded practice player Tyler Hendricks to the Buffalo Bandits in exchange for a 6th round pick in the 2026 NL entry level draft. You have the Buffalo Bandits have removed practice player tag from Tyler Hendricks and placed him on the active roster. You have Las Vegas have traded rights to Marshall King to Vancouver Warriors in exchange for a conditional 4th round selection in the 2027 NLL entry level draft. You have the Las Vegas Desert Dogs have traded rights to Casey Wilson to the Halifax Thunderbirds in exchange for Tyson Bell, a 1st round selection in the 2026 NLL entry level draft, their top one, by the way, and a conditional 2nd round selection for the 27 entry level draft turns to a 3rd round if Tyson Bell does re-sign there. Then you got Las Vegas Desert Dogs have traded Justin Sykes to the Ottawa Black Bears in exchange for Ottawa's 4th round selection in the 2027 2026 NLL entry-level draft and a conditional 4th round selection in 2028. And you have the Las Vegas Desert Dogs have also traded Josh Jackson to the Toronto Rock in exchange for Toronto's 3rd round selection in the 2027 NLL entry-level draft. And everybody knows how deep that draft is. So that those 3rd round picks are probably real. I heard PK say this on BSC. He said it, the 2nd rounds are really like late 1st rounds in the 2027 draft. And that's kind of the same thing as a 3rd rounder. It's easier. It might be like kind of a little easier to steal a gem within that draft. And so in Oshawa, Oshawa have traded Zachary Young to Las Vegas in exchange for a 2nd round pick in the 2026 draft. And you have Oshawa have placed practice player Joel Coyle on the active roster from the practice player. So nice to get some guys in there, especially because their season's over, right? Would have been nice to see a little bit more moving out of Oshawa today. You have Philadelphia Wings have traded Phil Caputo to Ottawa in exchange for Travis Longboat. I like Travis too. And a 3rd round selection in 2026. You also have Philadelphia trading Blaze Riordan to Rochester in exchange for a 2nd round selection for in 2027. That's a good one. That's a good move by Philly. Philadelphia have also placed practice player Cody Innes on active roster. And you also have them trading Joey Rez to Buffalo in exchange for Lucas Nielsen in Buffalo's 2nd round in the 2026. I think that was a great move by Buffalo. I think Joey Rez, great move for him. But like everybody knew this was coming. Like this has been talked about all season. So I don't know why this wasn't done earlier, but either way, it is what it is. That makes Buffalo scary again because it gives them that extra offensive piece that they've kind of been missing. In all fairness, I'm not trying to cut Chase Frazier down by any point, but I can tell you this kind of does replace Chase Frazier a little bit, I think, anyway. So that's interesting. And I'm sure BSC is just over the moon about this. And this was, again, kind of everybody knew this was coming. Then you've got Toronto Rock have placed practice player Kobe Henderson on the injury reserve for season ending list from the practice player list. So obviously guy got hurt. And Toronto Rock have also placed Robert Hudson on the IR for season-ending list as well. So there you guys have it. Not a huge busy day. Couple big blockbusters. I would say the Joey Rez one is a blockbuster, but again, everybody knew that was coming, so I don't really consider it. The Tyson Bell one, a little bit out of left field, but I think, like I said, I think it had more about how Halifax won last week, rather than they just won the game. I still believed in them. My belief has shrunk a little bit as well, though I will say that. Because if they don't believe in themselves, why should I believe in them? That's the truth of it, right? That's the way I look at it anyway. If your own management doesn't believe in you, why would I believe in you? It doesn't make any sense. So there you have it, guys. There is the episode. Very, very, very long episode. Like we're into like crazy. I'm gonna have to cut this down. This is gonna be my longest podcast by far. It's fine. It is what it is. If you guys like long podcasts, great. If you don't, you're not gonna like this one. So if you are still here, please leave me a comment because I really appreciate it. It's a lot to do these, but I love it. So here we go. This isn't gonna be out till Tuesday. I wanted to have it out Monday. I tried my best, but I had another interview to do. And at the end of the day, I'm very roll with the punches. So when shit doesn't work, I make it work the way it's gonna work. So I have a job, everything. Like I said, right now it's technically Tuesday now. So I'm gonna edit this up tonight. College lacrosse, PLL, the whole 9 yards. And in this, somewhere in here, I'm gonna have to start squeezing in some OJL, some Alberta League minor lacrosse, or some junior lacrosse, some BC junior lacrosse. Like we got to start getting some. What is it? The RM? I think it's the OJLL. It's the BCJLL, I think is what they call it, and I think it's the RMLL or something. Or what is it? It's RM. I thought it was RM. That doesn't even make any sense. ALL, is that what it is? The Alberta one? Anyway, whatever it is, those are the 3 leagues I'm going to be covering this year when it comes to thing. We're also going to be covering Summer League, obviously, which I'm so pumped for. I don't exactly know about Summer League. But to be honest with you, I watched the man last year, but it wasn't like I knew, the Chiefs were stacked. You got to watch the superstar, the all-star game of the Olympics or of the NLL, basically. But I will say that with that being said, it's exciting to watch. This will be my first season watching Summer League the whole season, and I'll be at least at one Chiefs game this year. I'd like to see the Arrows play. It's really tempting to just kind of get my RV and go park in Ontario for the summer because I would love to be able to travel around and see the games. So if anybody's listening and they want to give me a job doing that, feel free. But until that, unfortunately, I can't swing that. I don't think this summer, but we'll see what happens. I am also going to be, I've got some stuff going on locally as well that I'm going to be helping out. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more on the next podcast as well. So that's my plan, guys. And like I said, I'm a very roll with the punches. This has been way longer than I thought it was going to be. And I've just been recording all night. So I'm peacing out. You guys have a good one. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you soon.